They can hear me, they can hear y'all, and they hear the background sound, though. Faintly. Very faintly. Hello, and welcome to the bonus roll. I am your Dungeon Master Gearnos. I am being joined by several of my friends today. I already forgot the order in which I said I was going to be doing this introduction, so bear with me, but listen to that tabletop audio background. Let's see. I am being joined today by our new players, Mike and Pretend Ginger, and our returning players, Tux, Zizba, and Meryl. We are continuing the Briar Garden campaign. Y'all, they can hear y'all if anyone wants to actually say hi instead of flailing at the camera.
Hello.
Hi everybody, I'm Mike.
Hello.
Okay.
Oh,
For flailing at the camera, but okay.
Tux, I'm going to shoot you with a dart.
Take two.
My name is Monkey D. Luffy, and with my friends, I'm going to become the king of the pirates. Wait,
No.
no.
Damn it.
No. Just
Okay,
so many
cut.
no's.
Thank God we're recording this.
Okay.
Oh, like he's gonna remove anything.
I removed the brakes. I keep this
Okay.
as authentic as possible. Which means to
Alright.
say I'm not very good at editing.
You get the job done. That's all that needs to be done.
Yes, the 70-something episodes of Second Sight Agency sitting on my computer waiting to be edited definitely say I get the job done.
Okay, but how many have been edited?
60-something.
Which means you've
So-
only got like 40 waiting.
Oh,
Come
God.
on.
Yeah,
My
it's
math
a whole
is
lot of stuff
horrible today.
actually done.
I should not roll any dice. Okay,
Alright.
let's see here now. I introduced everyone. I plugged tabletop audio. So let's go ahead around the table, starting directly below me with Tux, just
this
to
finally
confuse
works, too.
everyone, and have Tux tell us about Bertrand.
Hi everybody, I'm Tux. I play Bert, the Pakeen Rogue. What is a Pakeen? Who knows? But they can be best described as a cat, psychic cat. But a large psychic cat, not house cat, like more like Puma Panther. I think
You
I have
can't
those
fool me.
animals right. It's
Yeah,
been a
It
while
all
since
makes
I read my
sense.
zoo books, so
It all makes sense when we release his art.
it's about the size of a bobcat.
You can't
There we
fool
go.
me. Pumas aren't a real animal.
I believe it's Robert Cat, sir.
Thank you.
and
I was like, I can't be the only person who watches that show.
and now, assuming we could do our third level up, I probably should have clarified that before we broadcast. But he's also a soul knife, so that's exciting.
That is cool.
Meryl.
Alright, folks. So, hi, I'm Merle. You may remember me from such campaigns as the Second Sight Agency. I'm not even going to try for the Troy McClure voice. Why is it focusing on my hoodie? That is very weird.
We have a floating hoodie and a floating
It's-
hat.
Yeah, oh my...
Yeah.
That's not even a hat. This is a clay
Oh.
heating pad. What the hell?
Ooh, that sounds
It
nice.
could be a hat if you tried hard
No,
enough.
that's just Bert with his normal stealth rolls.
Sure. Yeah. Hi, folks. I'm Merle. I played Rail Corvino in the Second Sight Agency. I am playing Buttons von Ambergalden. Sorry, Lady Buttons von Ambergalden of the. I don't remember what her whole shtick was. The someplace Ambergaldens. She's from Ambergalden. She's noble bunny lady thing. I have the wrong notes open. And she is an artificer, and after.
Oh yeah, yes.
After the most recent level up, she is an armorer artificer, meaning that she is tiny but tough, and will be even tougher when she can afford some better armor. Scale mail is not hugely great. It's not great. It's good starting armor. It's still only medium. We'll have to see about that later. And yeah, she is a tinkerer. She likes messing with spells and interesting devices and bubbling liquids of various colors that often give off steam. A little bit mad
Steam.
scientisty.
Sorry.
I don't think I'm missing anything for her.
You possibly are, but it's fine.
Oh, she's a Harangon rabbit. I
There we
forgot to
go.
actually mention that. Yeah. She is a rabbit of. I was
Means
gonna say rabbit of unusual size. She's kind of a rabbit of means. Her family are rabbits of means. She's a little bit of a black sheep of a rabbit. And yes, she is a small, mostly white rabbit. Figure slightly shorter than halfling size. She's, I
Oh.
believe, 3'11".
I think with one exception
Pretty
now we are.
good.
I think right now with one exception we are officially Team Fun Size.
Oh Lord, are we? Okay, we're all tiny.
Well,
Not
I
at
know,
all.
Almost.
I know who
Almost.
I'm hiding behind now.
All right. Yeah, small rabbit. Mostly white fur with black splotches. Very curly black hair, I believe.
Yep, your art got released last night. We can just link to that.
Oh
Hooray.
yeah.
And also,
Uh,
if you go see our stream's Twitter, you'll see who did our art. They did the background. They did the new Twitch icon. They did buttons. We have Kala and Bert coming up, and then we'll be getting art for the new two very soon.
Speaking
So look
of
for that weekly.
Speaking of new two, Ziziva, tell us about Kala.
You crazy DM. Okay, so Kala's a fairy. She's back in the material world, so she's back to being a flower seller and helping her new co-workers look for housing part-time. She's returned her bone flute. That was not hers.
aw.
But it came in handy.
Chekhov's bone flute.
But hey, she's got her new harp she's been sporting, and I guess they're just kind of in between chilling, looking for new work, looking for employment for them, and she's just learning from the world, you know.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and flip a coin here. That wasn't actually a coin. Mike, go ahead and tell us about your character, please.
All right, thank you. I'm Mike. I am playing Venser. He is a halfling tailor with a very super conventional monk bard build.
Super conventional. I
Happy
say.
to describe his
Please
looks
do.
now or in narratively if you want to do that in the game.
Now, please.
All right. So he is a very slight halfling with the great height of 2 feet 10 inches tall. He weighs about 28 pounds, very, very thin. He has curly chestnut hair that's about shoulder length. It may be underneath a hat. It's sometimes pulled back in a nice bun, like a man bun. He has a very fluffy, curly mustache. He styles with beeswax into curls. He has olive skin and jade green eyes. He's very tanned. Likes to show off his arms at times. But in general, he is well kept and does not wear any armor.
Right, and then last but not least, Pretend Ginger. If we can go ahead and get your character information and description.
Hi, everybody. I am playing Zephyrina the Red. She comes in at 5'11", so you can't miss her. She is a satyr, Eldridge Knight fighter. So she's looking for fun and maybe a fight, depending on the situation. She is known as the Red because of her dark red hair. It is cut similar to what you see right here. It's shaved underneath and long on top, so she sometimes has it down, sometimes has it up in a top knot. She's brown-eyed and lightly tanned, and she's fairly young. She's about 25, so she's still sowing her wild oats out there, living life for her experiences. So she's looking mostly for fun. So I'm excited to play her.
Okay. Let's see here now. I can't think of any other ways to delay this, so I guess I need to start doing like some descriptions and stuff. Previously on the campaign, several of our players had taken a job and extorted a significant amount of money and favors from a, let us say, oh, what's up? Did I skip you?
It's not extortion if they consent.
I don't know if that's quite how it works.
That's not really what extortion, how it works, but it's fine. A significant amount of money and a favor or two from a rather distressed member of the Sun Institute, whose boss had gone missing. Taking the well-earned payment, y'all dove into the Feywild, and a series of adventures led to one of the party members turning into a black dog and running off. One of them turning into glass and then having a glass heart and earning the nickname Fragile Heart. One of them picking up a gold sheen for a little bit, and one of them just kind of going float, float, float. Before y'all managed to locate the erstwhile director Attenborough through a series of questions, answers, and frog attacks, retrieved him from the perpetual garden party he had been trapped in, without being aware that he was trapped in a perpetual garden party. Y'all returned to the strange lady of the woods, who y'all then were escorted out of the Feywild via after Director Attenborough paid the toll. Y'all kept on saying Professor, and now it's burned into my mind.
Just had that professor vibe.
We'll be picking up 3 days later with y'all having collected your reward, gone to the library at least once, and I'm assuming crashing in the house/bakery of
Brie Tea Leaf.
Yeah, Brie Tea Leaf.
Of course they did. We can't send Buttons off to a flop house.
I just need a fireplace. Well, I don't need a fireplace, but yeah.
Much appreciated on that.
That said, let me change this from the Feywild background music to the city background music. Actually, turn that up to audible levels. There we go. Okay. We return to Port Grass. we return to Port Glassbreaker. No, we return to Port Glassbreaker a few days later after the events of the Feywild and the adventures therein. Our group of wild roses, having found a place to at least stay for a little bit, erstwhile seeds, though, blow through the wind, and so we set our scene there upon Zephyrina. Did I get that right?
You're on mute.
Hey, there we go. Yes, Zephyrina.
A long ways from the home you know of as Honeyshade. Did I write that name right? Yep. 3 days by cart, through the generosity of others, have brought you to this port city. A mission of importance placed upon you, though one that does not make a significant amount of sense from the information you're given. 10 days time to leave and return and collect 200 pounds of salt. a heavy pocket full of coin to pay for the goods, and a warning that if this is not done within time, the results could be fatal for someone. Entrusting you with the goods from your worldly experience, they set you off to the nearest port. What would normally have been a 6-day walk was significantly shortened through the generosity of various merchants and travelers along the Queen's Road, from the Scarsfolk Wood through the verdant plains where you have seen crops growing and animals grazing, and down along the coast. You skirt the edge of the Queen's Sea Mountain, the towering mountain range in the distant on the western coast, with the castle fortress set upon the edge of it, and veer north towards Port Glassbreaker, a small town welcoming in nature, filled with halflings and denoted most iconography.
Iconography.
Thank you. Iconography of a single tower jutting out of a small island in the middle of the bay of rough chopping water. As the cart trundles into town, you drive past a lovely little garden of a collection of wild roses with a silver statue in the center. The maiden of the statue holding a shield slightly upturned, pure clean water cascading from the top of it via magical source, as near as you can tell, into a small pool at her feet and then spreading out through the garden. It's here that you enter Port Glassbreaker, and the farmers that had brought you this far stop and say, "Well, this is as far as we go, my dear. Thank you very much for your company."
Thank you for the transportation, and she'll pick a gold piece out and throw it to him.
Takes the
And
coins. Generosity. Oh, that is right. We did forget inspiration real quick. I am terribly sorry. Z? This is Meryl Tux. If y'all want to give some inspiration real quick, and then we will get back to the story. I'm terribly sorry. I forgot all about that.
Last time we got interrupted at the end when we do that, and
Yeah.
I had to be off camera for the whole end because someone came to the door. So,
Yep.
yeah, I give to Meryl for making it through the very traumatic glass fragile heart scenes, and I think that was a little harder on player than character at times. So I'm gonna give that one to Meryl.
The player isn't too bad with the Feywild. The character hates the Feywild.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'd like to give one. The problem is I'm trying to refresh my memory of what we did last time. But I'd like to give one to Bert for being very playing the possessive nature of the character very well. Yeah, the shenanigans with the was it the puzzle box? I think it
Yes.
was the puzzle box. That was a lot of fun.
Can I also give one to Meryl?
Sure, totally. Meryl can only have one, but you can give it Meryl.
Oh, never mind. I'll give it to Zizabov, because Kala churned the bone flute,
Okay.
as promised.
That sounded inappropriate, but alright, I can deal with that. Sorry, back to Zeprina. As you stand at the edge of this garden, the farmer's cart kind of turns off to the side, heading to southern ports along the coastline, not really stopping in town so much as that they were coming by and they just gave you a lift. You see the port spread out before you, a simple maybe 2.5 lane city with a jutting pier that goes out to the island, and then even out farther past the cove with the choppy water to where ships can dock. In the far distance, you see a massive ship starting towards the edge of the horizon. Starting towards the port from the edge of the horizon, though at this distance it does not appear exceptionally large due to the fact that it is so far from you and so visible, your mind reels at the possibility of the size of it. But the city is before you.
I'll, kind of look left to right and ponder to myself, where could I acquire a large amount of salt? That was my goal, right? That was what I was
200
looking
pounds
for.
of salt.
That's a lot. Are there any locals hanging around outside the garden or shop?
Oh, go ahead. Or was that the end of it? I timed that perfectly.
Yeah.
I timed that perfectly. I'm a great DM.
Yeah.
There's a number of children around the edge of the park. It's early morning, so most of the adults are still either slow to rise or making themselves tea or busying themselves about their day. But you see a bevy of halfling children, a few humans, and even an elf or two just kind of enjoying the early morning before their lessons at the park. A couple of them running and playing.
Okay. So I'll just wander up to the group and, good morning, everybody. And see if anybody runs, number one.
3 of them stop and just stare up at you. Hi. And then one of them kind of stops for a second and then scurries off, leaving you with 2 of them.
In hopes that I don't completely scare them with my height, I'll kind of squat down and ask them if there's a local merchant in town that they can point me to.
They kind of we get candy from the bear, and they point down towards the 2nd street.
The candy. Okay. That's fine. And I'll take out a little bronze piece and hand it to the kids for the information. Although it wasn't overly helpful, I'm generous. So
they take it and stow it away and then just sprint away from their friends.
Yeah.
It's
making friends in case I need something.
Yeah. The other one looks up at you expectantly.
What kind of information can you give me, little one?
There's a big bear in front of the store.
All right, good enough. And I'll give them a little bronze piece too.
They take it and run off.
So, Candy sounds good. She could make a pit stop first, so I'll head in the direction that they pointed, and as I do, kind of look for any other signs of maybe a more appropriate shop to talk to an adult.
As you kind of wander your way through town, the idyllic nature of the city kind of strikes you as not false, but just a underlying tension to it, like something is in the air and building, not something bad, but a quiet anticipation, a thrum of chatter among people. A few of those standing outside their homes kind of give you a wave as you go by. But descending down into the city itself, you kind of pass by a number of small little shops that don't really catch your attention beyond just noting that they exist. There is a smithy with a open front that has a small black soot cloud floating from the chimney in front of it. The tall tower in the distance in the bay catches your attention again and again as you look around. Clearly, it is a central point to here and used for most navigation. You see a bathhouse situated not too far from the edge of town, with a number of people coming in and out for their morning wash. And looking around, you find pretty easily, due to the description that was given to you by the children, the name just completely skipped out of my head.
With something with the bear.
Yes, the Grumpy Bear General Goods. A large taxidermy bear standing out in front of it. A half-elf is carefully draping goods on the bear's arm, as well as situating a cloak over its shoulders as you approach. Oh, good morning. Can I help you?
Good morning. Yeah, I'm new in town, and I'm looking to find where I could possibly buy a large quantity of salt. And for your trouble, I'll purchase some of your candy.
Well, we sell candy, lemon and honey drops for a copper apiece. But how much salt are you needing?
This would be a bulk order, 200 pounds.
Oh, that is a significant portion of salt. Don't normally get that much in. You may have better luck down at the docks with a couple of the merchant ships, seeing if they have any. Normally, I mean, there's the sea if you get really desperate, my dear, but I don't recommend that anytime soon.
My timeline wouldn't allow for making my own salt, so in that quantity. But I appreciate the tip. I'll take. How much was your candy again?
It's a copper for 10.
A copper for 10. I will take 2 coppers worth of candy.
Honey or lemon drops.
One set of 10 each.
All right, he gives you 2 little paper baggies of honey-colored and lemon yellow hard candies.
Okay.
It's like, don't bite them. Trust me. I tell the kids, but they still like. So I'm gonna have to send them to the apothecary if they do it too much.
Understood. I appreciate the warning. Thank you so much. And she'll take one of the pieces and pop it in her mouth and start heading towards the ship.
He kind of nods and gives you a bit of a wave. Have a nice one. As you kind of wander towards the docks, you pass a few other locations. As you go by a building that is signage reads the Queen's Cloud Tavern, you smell the warm scent of tarragon and chicken baking, hot bread, and a very soft molasses scent carried underneath that tone. Continuing past them, you then pass by a very clearly bar that is turning out its customers this early in the morning, noted as the Lonely Magpie. Across the way from that is a small little building with a open front, stall, wherein an elder gentleman kind of sits on a chair filling out ledgers and looking out over the port and then checking around the city. Streaming in and out past him is a number of porters carrying trade goods from various ships that have docked at the far end of the port or have made their way bravely into the actual Glassbreaker Bay. You have arrived at literally Harbor Port Glassbreaker and see the Logistics Guild, the Porters and Logistics Guild.
So I would she stops the first kind of passing person and, Oi, I'm looking to procure a large amount of salt. Can you point me in the direction of somebody that could help me?
The half-orc kind of shifts the package that he has over, so, let's talk to Jean. And he gestures with his elbow towards the gentleman sitting in the open stall. He's
The guy that's in charge here.
He's like,
Excuse me.
and he kind of lumbers off towards the town proper.
Gotcha. So I'll head towards, you said Jean?
Jahan.
Jahan, okay.
A elderly-looking human, very thin hair around the side of his head, wispy and white in color, looks up at you with like warm brown eyes. Hello, how may I help you today, my dear? Welcome to the Porters and Magicians Guild. I am Harbor Master Jahan.
Good morning. I'm on an important mission, and I'm seeking a large quantity of salt. Would that be something you can help me procure?
Salt. One moment, please, my dear. And he kind of grabs a book from underneath his desk, pushes the ledger that he was filling out aside, and starts flipping through pages. So do you need a particular kind, or from a location, or just salt?
Just salt.
All right. Well, that makes
200 pounds of salt.
Stops a little bit. That is a significant amount of salt, my dear. I think we can do that. Let's see here now. As he kind of flips through the pages, like, you have a day or two. We have a ship that was scheduled to return here yesterday, but has not yet arrived, known as the Storm Cloud. They were heading south to pick up several sundry goods, and they should have enough salt for you then.
My mission is pretty time dependent, but 1 or 2 days should be fine if that's the best shot I have of acquiring the amount that I need.
All right. Well, if you need a place to stay for the evening, the flop house is pretty cheap. Don't sleep in the gardens. There was a vagabond who was doing that and scaring children, and so the town watch has been a lot more strict about rousting people from there. Just to give you a warning.
Good to know. Where's the best place to eat around here? I've been on the road for a few days, and I could use a pint.
Well, I am particularly fond of the morning meal at the Queen's Cloud, but you could probably find something to eat at the Lonely Magpie or at the Poor or Lonely. I'm questioning myself now. I wrote this down for a reason. Yeah, the Poor Magpie. If you're desperate for something that's not nearly as appetizing, but more inebriational.
Good to know. And when I procure this amount of salt, I will need a way to transport it. Are there like small carts for hire or?
Oh, yes, most certainly. Here at the Porters and Magicians Guild, we specialize in ensuring getting goods from one place to another at a quickly and timely manner, thanks to the Queen's Road. We offer very reasonable rates. I'm assuming, please excuse the assumption, you are one of the wild folk from the forest?
I am.
Well, we will be happy to arrange transport for any goods that you may purchase to the edge of the Scarce folk and beyond if necessary.
Good to know. All right, and then I don't know that she's ready to commit to that particular part of it yet, but she'll notate that. Thank you very much for your information. I'm famished, so I'm gonna go.
Enjoy
get
your
something
breakfast,
to eat.
my dear.
Thank you so much.
Then, sir,
Yeah.
head on off. Then, sir, it's been a few days since you have arrived in Port Glassbreaker. The quaint little town is not quite exclusively halfling, but has a decent halfling population. What you know of your family suggested that you had a relative in the area at one point, and so when the bardic troop that you had met up with and trained was heading down in this direction, you felt, it's not the worst of locations to head to first off. Early morning at Espuses, am I pronouncing it?
Epsilon?
Epsiles, Silks and Fine Goods is a busy time with a number of people coming in to pick up orders or drop off things to be repaired. Bonrun, the large male Loxodon who works the counter for most of the people, giving you a morning rumbly greeting as he hands a package over to a half-elf that has come to pick it up. Morning. You sleep all right, my friend?
Good morning, Bonron. How are you today?
Oh, just keeping busy. Bricky's not here, but Lady is in the back taking care of a few orders if you want to lend a hand today. If not,
of course.
Well, if you'll excuse me, he kind of turns back to the half-elf and hands them the paper receipt for the mending that was done. They leave. The shop is regal, refined. There's a splash of silk across the countertop to keep it clean. Wooden mannequins line one edge of the place with a set of mirrors framing the center one so that it's possible to rotate and get multiple views of the work being done on the mannequin. Piles of display clothes have been sorted neatly and arranged in such a way as to be easy to go through for the various people that want to take a look at the fine work done here. A back door leads to the little work area that Sandra Espli, I'm not going to get that right for a while, has reserved for her and her staff. There is the soft scent of lavender in the air as you pass by Bonron, a small little candle lit at the backside of the counter, the source of the scent.
Okay, Venser proceeds to the back area and enters through the door and says, "Oh, Chandra, dear, how are you today?"
The elderly human female with her salt and pepper hair, long but pulled back and turned up into a tight bun, looks up from where she is carefully mending a cloak from a terrace. Oh, hello. I see you've made it to the shop today. It's very good to see you, my friend. Better
great
than
to see you
Fricky.
this morning as well.
If you do happen to see our erstwhile little friend, please tell her I would appreciate it if she showed up in the morning. Do you have a project that you are working on today, or are you free to assist me with some things?
Well, I was going to work on some designs, but if you need help in the front, I'm gladly to assist.
Bonron can handle the front. I need someone to make a quick errand run for me. A ship
Oh, of course.
was due into port yesterday that was supposed to be bringing several silks for me from the Rodan Empire. They do produce a fine silk. Unfortunately, they have not arrived. They did not arrive yesterday, and I'm hoping that there has been some word as to their arrival today or tomorrow. If you could go on down to the port and talk to Dear Jahan, let him know that and she gives like a small grin. So if you could let him know that his dear Sandra needs to know how soon she can get these bolts of silk, I would greatly appreciate
Gladly, and he winks at her.
it. She winks back and smiles. putting down one of the needles, on picking up a kind of curved bone needle and starting to thread a little silvery gold thread through it before she starts working on the epaulet, or not the epaulet, the clasp of the cloak.
Just in case we're lucky, do you have some papers that I could take to claim the order and get it delivered?
Oh, most certainly, my dear. Thank you very much. I appreciate your foresight. You could, and she kind of stops and goes over to a paper stack on one of the desks and just kind of sorts through three of them. It's like, they were due back recently, but I'm guessing the storms to the south have caused a delay. It is not too much of a surprise, and considering the hostilities the Empire normally partakes in, I am amazed that they were able to, were confident in acquiring any at all. But she pulls out a small receipt with a stamp from the Logistics and Porters Guild on top of it. It's like, Johan will recognize his work.
Perfect. I'm just going to pop in over here and freshen up and make sure that my countenance is nice before I go to the port.
Of course, my dear. Please, do not feel the need to rush. Just when you can. It is one of those, I would like some idea of how long it will take me to procure these materials.
I will be quick. It's clear you need some help. I mean, Bonrun is great, but I mean, is he going to make a sale? Come on.
Do appreciate having him, though.
And Vincent turns and pops out, stops by the little kind of water closet to clean up and get himself nice, frill out his shirt, make sure his vest is nice and tight, his tails are pointed, takes a deep breath, closes his eyes, centers himself, and says, "We're talking to shipping people. Talking to shipping people. We're talking to shipping people." And then turns and exits the shop.
As you are heading out, a slightly taller than you gnome, bedecked in pearl earrings, necklaces, and studded in multiple places on her bracelets, kind of just like takes a step to the side and kind of smiles at you. It's like, I see, busy at work already. You'll excuse me, I got a couple designs I wanted to finish up and show to a client or two. Don't worry. Sure, whatever's eating up your time won't cause too much of a delay. And she kind of gives a little grin and moves past you.
Is this Zaza?
It is Zaza.
So Vincer kind of just. Well, Zaza, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here and helping out. Are you selling now here at our shop?
Selling. I am providing services to discerning clientele who recognize quality.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Of course you are. I hope the day treats you as well as you deserve. And he bows and then scampers off.
She gives like a little. Outside you smell warm chicken tarragon from the Queen's Cloud across the way. Their breakfast meal is generally chicken and bread with a warm cup of something. It is a very stark reminder to eat every day as you work across the street from such a accomplished tavern. Heading down towards the docks, you see a strange sight, one that you have not encountered before. One of the wilder folk, a satyr, you believe, from the horns and the slight bits of fuzz peeking around the edge of pants and I'm assuming hooven feet, not shoes or boots. Talking to the harbor master Jahan. After a few moments, she kind of nods and y'all eyes meet for a second as she heads on up the way back past you towards what you're assuming is the Queen's Cloud or wherever she may be staying for the evening or the day.
Spencer looks up and, good morning, dear. If you would ever like to upgrade your repertoire, maybe check out Epsidy's Silks and Fine Goods. I could give you a discount.
She looks down at this small person who's very flamboyant. Well, thank you. I'm new to town. I am pretty dusty. If when you're done with your business, if you want to come have a drink and a meal with me, I'll be at the Queen's Cloud. Come join. It'll be fun.
Oh, it's good that you made that decision and not the poor magpie. and then really quick, Venser casts prestidigitation and cleans off the dust. Does it a couple times since she's so big.
Oh, goodness. So generous in this town.
It's a little bit better for the Queen's Cloud.
Well, I appreciate that. I will keep that in mind.
I may just pop in. I am hungry. They do make a great stew.
It smelt delicious, so yeah, make sure you come down.
Okay. Well, thank you. Have a great day. And he turns and kind of approaches the porter master.
All right. You see,
Master Jahan, is it? I do believe.
he looks down and is like, oh, yes, young sir. How may I help you today?
Oh, hello. I am a representative from Chandra Epsidy's Silks and Fine Goods. And he hands over the little requisition receipt.
He
And so
takes.
Chandra asked me to check on an order that she's been waiting for. She, I believe you two are acquainted, and he kind of leans in a little bit.
He kind of like smiles a little, holds the paper between his fingers, like, oh, the dear. Let's see here now. She's still waiting on those silks. It's a lot of business for the Stormbreaker. Hopefully the captain. Unfortunately, we have not heard word, or Stormcloud, not Stormbreaker. Unfortunately, we have not heard word from the Stormcloud just yet. We saw several clouds to the south and have heard reports of bad weather. So I am hoping that they will be in today, if not tomorrow morning. I'm terribly sorry. He hands the paper back. If you would like to or feel competent in passing on my good wishes to the lady, I tell her I hope to see her soon and will try to ensure the delivery arrives post haste, and I will accompany the porters myself to see her if at all possible.
Well, I definitely will give her your well wishes. I'm sure I won't be quite the same, but if you do join or accompany the delivery, that would be even better.
At most, I would be very happy to see her again. So I will try to make it a priority.
And if you would like to outfit yourself with an upgrade, maybe I could draw something up for you.
Oh. It's been a bit of a time, and I do know that dear Sandra does have a eye for well-tailored suits and clothes. I may stop by and take have my measurements taken.
Gladly. I have a ladder. I can do that.
You are a funny one, my boy. Well, thank you for your time. I will make sure to send word if anything comes of note.
Venser straightens his legs, clicks his heels together, does a short bow, grabs the receipt, turns, and walks away.
Alright. As you are heading off, you see a pair of Jaquin, the large equine type of Calaquin, pulling a heavily laden carriage from the docks up towards the city itself. They kind of like stop and wait for you to move past, and you hear a voice in your in the back of your head, a soft kind of rumbly one. Good day, sir.
Good day, friend, not food. Sorry to slow your progress here.
They kind of just like stomp their hoof a little bit, and then after a second continue on their way.
Wonder where all that's going. That's a lot of stuff. Can't quite see it all, but
You do see them heading towards what you know of as the Grumpy Bear General Goods. So you assume that it's a fresh restock on food goods.
great. Venser starts to approach the Queen's Cloud.
All right.
Just while he's walking, he mutters to himself, just kind of like, well, this is quick. I can get a little bite to eat, and then I will be back at work, and nobody will know the difference.
As y'all awaken for the day, Kala is already up and incredibly cheerful about it.
She's picking her 6 flowers to take out for vending.
Bree is putting out several tarts that have cut out fairy puff pastries on top of them to go into the oven once they are at proper temperature, and painting egg wash on them. You smell like a warm cup of tea. She has not really prepared breakfast for y'all, as that's not really what she does. Y'all are more staying in her house at an incredibly discounted price because she is exploiting Kala's presence to sell baked goods.
Seems ridiculous.
I got my flowers for today.
So, oh, excellent! Thank you.
You should wake up, Bert, so you don't get in the way of customers coming in. And she pokes at Bert.
Bert's got like various scrolls and reading materials kind of spread out around him. It's kind of clear that he's been kind of night studying.
And real quick, if I could get a description from y'all for our new players.
Kala is 3'8", but she's flying at about 5 feet up. Slightly bluish haired skin and hair, bee wings, and she's just wearing her common clothes today, which have like lots of browns and yellows and stuff to contrast, and they're really loose and comfortable.
Buttons, as I've said, is a Harengon. She is about 3'10", not counting the ears. She is small white fur with black splotches, frizzy black hair. Currently, she is curled up on quote-unquote a bed, surrounded by bits and bobs of gears, little bits of scrap metal. She was apparently up working late last night on something. She
There's a
literally has a wrench still in her hand while she's asleep.
there's a collar-shaped spot where there's no tools. Since Buttons was staying over.
That works. Yeah, she's just kind of slowly. She's not a morning person. Let's put it that way. Buttons is not a morning person.
I guess I'll go ahead and go. So Bert is pucking, so think like I guess kind of big cat, lean. I almost imagine him kind of panther-like, but because he's been in society, he kind of acts more like a giant domesticated cat. But he's like, I want to say charcoal black, I think.
They are slate gray by default with a number of kind of black stripes through their body.
And with yellow eyes, and he's got a kind of a harness / utility belt thing for all of his stuff. And like I said, right, he wakes up, kind of his fur a little messed up. He's clearly been spending the night like studying and reading something. In front of the, I'm assuming, fireplace with a dead fire at this point.
Yeah.
He kind of slowly stretches, gets up, grooms.
Today's the day we get Lady Buttons a place.
First we need to check on the storm cloud.
Buttons. As you wake up, you are reminded that, remember that you were going to check on the storm cloud yesterday, but it did not arrive. And the harbor master told you to check in today sometime in the morning to see if word has arrived.
Oh, all right.
You also smell blackberry tea.
Oh, that's okay. Oh. Right.
It is in fact 30% easier to get
Oh.
up in the morning when you're staying with the halfling.
Okay. Just from the food smells?
Yes.
Fair. Yes. Right. I didn't mean to clean up before I fell asleep. I just, sorry. And she'll just kind of busy herself tidying up the bed. Ignore the grease stains. Just please ignore the grease stains. Right. Yes, the storm cloud. We need to go check it out. Hopefully it'll come in today. Hang on, and so she's just kind of getting ready for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And
Packing her bag.
yeah, packing her bag, checking on her armor, getting on her armor, and just the other two would notice after a little bit that there is a tea kettle, kind of hovering on a little cloud of steam that's making itself towards the top of the room that wasn't there last night. Just a tea kettle, just hovering up there.
The acquisition of pets begins.
Yes.
We're officially playing D&D.
Kyla will lean in.
Yes.
Oh, you're up. There's tea down. Oh, there's tea up. Okay. Bye.
Oh yes. I had a breakthrough last night. I didn't want to lose the idea, so I just tinkered before I fell back to sleep.
I know.
Oh.
We all know.
I did try to be quiet.
Try being the key word.
Well, yeah. Come down, Kettle. Make make be polite and make their acquaintance.
There is a low, drawn-out whistling sound as hot air is expelled from the kettle and slowly starts to drift down.
All right. So I just a bit of a breakthrough with regards to substationary locomotion and just I do believe it's called a homunculus.
Is that its name?
No, its name is Kettle, but because that's what it is.
Oh, hi, Kettle.
There's a puff of steam from it.
It should come in handy. It can fly. It can help us out a little bit
But
in
that's
sticky
not its
situations.
secret name, right? You shouldn't give something the secret name of the name that it is, because that's dangerous.
Not. I don't believe it has a secret name. It's not the sort of thing. I mean, I don't have a secret name. I'm just, well,
And I certainly
she's
don't
gonna
have
look a little
secret
abashed
name.
at what you just said.
Yeah, you know the one so people don't know your real name. For, like, magic and stuff. And
Yes,
Kala
magic,
goes back to get tea downstairs.
which I don't have. A secret name, that is.
Bree is downstairs sipping tea. She has like a pair of toast points and honey jelly that she is honeyed jelly, not honey jelly. There's two different. Those are two very different things.
I mean, they both sound delicious.
As she is working on the pastries for today. Like, did you sleep well? I heard you up all, well, not all night, but most of
Yeah,
the night working hard. I hope you got enough rest. And she takes like a long sip of tea.
sorry about that. Today is definitely the day we're going to find Lady Buttons a place.
There's no rush or worries, my dear. Could you do me a favor and real quick? And she just kind of goes over to the larder and pulls out a number of like eggs and a small container of fruit. So if you could just like hold these for a moment for me, please.
Kala grabs them all up in as safe a manner as she can and just kind of buzzes for a second while chatting.
Thank you very much, my dear. And she kind of like sips her tea and continues doing egg wash on her pastries.
I'm thinking,
Uh,
I'm thinking, Buttons may need to find like a workshop, and then that would have a house, right? Like when people do trades, like blacksmiths and things.
I
Yes,
perhaps might
in
be
some
able to
cases,
find
yes.
one.
I'm sure y'all can hear even from upstairs because it's a very small house.
It is a very small house.
And as Bria has pointed out, it doesn't have a lot of noise isolation.
Hey, I'll take the hint.
yeah, I think we probably need to get her in a workshop since she's not the best house guest. With, you know, all the stuff lying around and the grease and the weird slashes in the pillows.
I don't
recall
want to
that
know
last
about
one.
that. I will replace the pillows in the afternoon. And she kind of takes the pastries that she has been working on and pops them in the wood fire stove. It's like, well, I am going to do a little gardening while those bake. Oh, that's enough. And she takes the stuff that she handed to Kala back. It's like, thank you, my dear. Y'all have a pleasant day. There's a little tea left if you want to help yourself to it. And she kind of goes outside to check on the vine trellises that have started to sprout from where she planted the seedlings that you brought her.
Okay. 1-to-1 to Buttons. After we check on the storm cloud, we need to get some real food.
I definitely could go for some breakfast. I could murder a cucumber sandwich right about now. Right. I don't. So yes, a new place. I don't really need much in the way of um, what's the word? Uh,
Comfort.
yes, amenities. I don't need much in the way of amenities. I just really need a workshop space and
Noise isolation.
place to lay my head and a place for the necessities. I don't know if I can find a workshop with an attached shower.
Couldn't you just build one?
You could just get a workshop by the bathhouse.
By the
Surely you know how to make a water pump.
yes, but that rather relies on having water to pump.
Just desalinate the water here. Or use rainwater. Aren't you the one that's supposed to know all this stuff?
Yes, I do know that I have limits.
Well, we all know that Buttons thinks better on a full stomach.
True.
Yes. Come along, Kettle. Let's make a new start to the day.
It makes a long, low whistle sound as it bops down to about your shoulder level.
Aw.
Bert's actually going to do a quick experiment. He's going to go 1-to-1 to the kettle. Do you hear me?
You hear a intense, high-pressure screaming.
Inconclusive.
Kettle, don't be rude. I don't know. Homunculi can homunculi talk?
What's its intelligence?
It is intelligence 10.
Then yes.
Languages understands the languages you speak, so I don't think it can speak itself. But it does understand Common, Elvish, and Sylvan.
Good to know.
And it can telepathically communicate with me, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
I think it'll be very helpful to have around.
Sorry,
It's
that
so
was out.
cute, isn't it?
Bert kind of tilts his head like,
I still haven't
Sure.
quite got that magic stick to do anything yet, even though I know it's supposed to augment spells. But I did manage to levitate a flower pot the other day with the harp.
Oh, that's lovely. That I don't quite know how that works, but that certainly seems like a lovely item to have. Terribly sorry, I've never really understood, I guess, bardic type magic?
Well, I was just thinking it was really heavy and I couldn't go sell it and walk around with it. And I was playing around. And then I had a flower pot that I could tag along with me. It didn't really help me sell anymore because, I lost a bunch of time floating a flower pot. But useful for later.
Yes. And it's, even if something doesn't work immediately, it's still important to try it. Never know what'll come in handy.
I'm assuming y'all are having tea during this conversation.
Yep, and getting ready to head out the door.
Yeah, so we're all armored up, we're all, if not fed, then watered. And there is a ship that is hopefully in harbor to be looked after. So how about we head over there and perhaps we can grab some food on the way.
That sounds like a plan to me.
Sounds good.
Alright. So, y'all's destination is...
The dock where the storm cloud is supposed to dock.
Alright, well,
Yeah,
there's
I
only
think
one dock
actually
in town.
we'd probably
Wow.
go to sorry, was it Johan?
Jahan.
Jahan, right? Because he's the harbor master. He would know,
That is an excellent
and
point.
I would know that. So I would
So once
suggest we
the
go to him.
group sees the ship still on the horizon, they'd probably just go to breakfast.
I mean, there are ships at the port. Y'all don't know exactly what the
Okay.
storm cloud looks like. The ship you see in the distance is way larger than you would think the storm cloud would be, just judging by the size and the detail that you can see on it.
Can I kind of make an assessment on it with my vehicle water? knowledge?
Make a history check for me.
Sure.
I think the assessment is more on the means of Button's grandmother versus your understanding of ships.
No, I mean, like, what kind of ship is it? Like,
The one that
he's
we can
used to
see.
shipping. He's gonna see his ship. He's gonna be like, "That's that would be a 21."
21? Okay. It looks, though you do not know the specifics of it, it looks to be one of the Lispi, nomad ships, the cities that they float in.
Interesting.
It may not be heading towards the port, it may just be skirting along the coastline. You're not sure due to the massive size of it and how slow they move. It looks almost stationary from the distance.
Okay.
Relativity.
Hey, is how it do.
Yep. So to Jahan.
To Jahan. And if we see any food stands or anything like that along the way, we stop off and grab a bite.
Feeling like maybe treating ourselves. Maybe go to the Queen's Cloud.
Yep.
I can say that.
Words. I can say words too.
Words are hard.
Queen's Crowd, the best. Pub.
Oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to have a city, and every name is just going to be a one letter off from the last name.
Oh God, why would you do that?
No, better yet, do that with the villains and the main NPCs that help us.
Cathal, Corral, Carl.
We're all.
You were gonna put a Carl
We
in there,
even
you
had
know you
some
were.
Viviana and Valora triples at the end there.
Yeesh. All right, yeah.
And then
Anyway.
switch 'em.
Let's get this wagon train a moving.
The docks are rather busy as y'all approach with the daily loading and unloading of the ships. With how far out they have to extend to be outside the rough waters of the Glassbreaker Bay, most of the porters are pretty decently robust when it comes to carrying goods or pushing goods due to the distance they have to travel just to get from ship to shore. The steady stream does, of course, stop periodically as several of them stop to talk with Jahan. As y'all walk past the Queen's Cloud, heading down to the docks, you see a halfling in a very ornate hat making his way inside. Starts with an A. I
Queen's
want to say
Cloud?
appellation. That's not the right term. The accoutrement, a very striking statement.
Oh, I wish we'd had a hat like that for the tea party.
Still don't think that was a particularly normal tea party. But
Was
yes,
it?
I can say lovely chapeau. We are thinking about the tea party where no one was able to leave, yes? Where the frog ate poor Bert here?
Yeah, I was thinking of a hat somewhere between Frog Casual and Director Chic.
Frog casual. Well, I suppose you could ask where he purchased it?
Oh, I'll do that after we get our errands done, maybe.
There's a soft breeze, and you catch the scent of tarragon and chicken, warm bread, and the very sweet molasses that the Queen's Cloud uses.
Perhaps breakfast first before we do anything else. Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's do some breakfast. The dying does
Kala
look
just shrugs and follows him.
nearly dying works up an appetite, it seems.
Inside the Queen's Cloud, the dwarven proprietor that y'all have interacted with previously kind of looks up from her place behind the grill and behind the bar, smiles. It's like, morning, we're a little full up today, and she is not lying, as most of the tables are filled with people coming in either from the docks to get a actually good meal as opposed to, hardtack and water, or locals getting giving themselves a treat and having someone else cook breakfast for them. You look around and you see a number of a small pack of Vakin, the canine counterparts to Jacquin, have occupied a space near the fireplace and are kind of just sitting in a semicircle looking at each other. A table off in one corner has a number of chairs around that have not been occupied, with the exception of a single wilder folk that Kala would recognize as Kala and actually Buttons would both recognize as a satyr, having one studied many races at the Institute, and the other being a bit wider traveled than the other. Then scattered throughout the tables are a number of dwarves, elves, half-elves, and a few half-orcs that are having a breakfast. Behind the counter, you catch the scent of warm bread, black molasses, and tarragon chicken roasting in the oven. He was like, "I'll have one of the girls run something out to you in a bit," as she gestures to the open space, trusting you to find your own table.
Oh,
He sounds good.
that would be so kind.
She kind of waves and goes back to dealing with the massive number of foods. You see the halfling and the... I keep on wanting to say ostentatious, and that's not the word. Awe-inspiring hat, making their way through the bustling crowd of the tavern.
I mean, is
I
it
think
not
ostentatious actually works also. It is very much demanding of attention.
Zephyrina, seeing Vincer and recognizing him, she starts to wave and join me at my table. Nobody likes to eat alone. Come on. I promised you a meal.
Vincer kind of waves back and just looks around a little bit, finds somebody that looks like they work there, and says, "Excuse me, could I have some type of cushion or something that I could climb onto so that I could maybe eat here today?" And starts to walk towards Zephyrina at the table and proceeds to start climbing up the chair to get into position, waiting for his cushion.
Mira, the dwarven proprietor behind the bar, looks up as you call it, like smiles, points 2 fingers at you, and then shouts something in Dwarvish. Does anyone speak Dwarvish?
I do not.
No.
Okay.
I do.
Shouts something in Dwarvish at the back room. Valak. After a couple seconds, a younger-looking version of Mira carries out it's not quite a pillow. It's more of maybe a 6-inch tall block that has a cushion attached to the top of it. She looks around, spots the hat, and heads on over to Mom said to bring you this.
Oh, thank you so much, my dear.
Sure, no problem. Can I take y'all's order?
I want what the smell is.
Okay.
It smells wonderful. Is it a soup?
It's
Or a
roast.
stew?
It is a tarragon chicken platter, with root vegetables and black molasses bread.
Yes. Bring it to me.
For you,
Please.
dear.
Absolutely.
Do you want
Same for
a
me.
eye opener?
Absolutely.
All right.
2.
Tea for me, please.
Certainly. And she kind of gives like a quarter bow. You can see like she has a small tattoo, blocky with it's a square block with a single dot at the top and 2 lines below it, looking almost like a domino on her right cheek, before she heads off to get the food for y'all. The main party, y'all see Mira's daughter, who y'all have probably encountered after y'all's first or second time here, who works as a wench is not the proper term. Works as a server here. Deliver a block, take an order, and then run off. She does stop at a few other tables to take other orders. There's not a lot of space here other than the empty table and the bar. Or the semi-empty table.
Maybe we should go ask about the hat.
Zephyrina, seeing that their table is the only one with chairs and seeing them kind of like look like they need a place to sit, would you like to join us? And we'll, yeah.
Oh,
We have space.
luck.
Friends of yours?
The more the merrier.
No, she seems very friendly. This is a definite possibility. By the way, I like your hat.
Oh, well, and noticing Kala for the first time, Vincent kind of looks up and his eyes get a little bit wide and seeing you flying and saying, well, thank you. And he takes his hat off. It is very ostentatious. It's like a mulberry-colored purple. It's felt. It's a cavalier's hat, so it has one raised side and kind of one more flattened side with a small curve. But then it has a ridiculously long peacock feather coming out of the flat side and actually raising up taller than he is, who, he's only a little bit short of 3 feet tall. So his hat is almost bigger than he is. And he takes it off of his head and says, I shouldn't be wearing this in here anyway. And he places it down. My own design. I'm glad you like it. It's sometimes important to make a statement when you are of such small stature.
Yeah, I have a more colorful outfit for when I have to go to like the busy market and everyone's yelling.
I'm sure it's wonderful. I would like to see it sometime. I design clothes.
Ooh, nice. Do you do tea party hats?
I could do hats to wear at tea parties. I would need some inspiration in order to craft such a thing, but we could talk. He pulls out a piece of parchment and a very fine looking pen and kind of says, I mean, if you're serious about commissioning something, I could start to draw up some designs even today.
Her eyes get really wide. People could just do that?
While this conversation
we
is
could
going,
fly.
while this conversation is happening, Alina returns, the daughter, with 2 platters of half a chicken each, resting on. She's holding one in hand. She has the other kind of resting on her forearm, with a scattering of chopped root vegetables, and she has a teacup and pot hanging off of 2 fingers like this, while a mug is held in her top 2 fingers with her other hand. She clearly knows what she's doing when it comes to bringing food to a table, and she distributes the platters, sets the mug of a very dark and foamy liquid in front of Zephrina, while she kind of drops the teacup and then wiggles her hand to get a full grip on the teapot before pouring a full glass of honey yellow tea and leaving the pot on the table. Do y'all need drinks or food too? It's going to be a 2 copper for the meal and a copper for each of the drinks. Breakfast special.
Spencer pops in and says, "This is far too much food for me. You may share it if you'd like some. Half a chicken is a lot."
No, Zephrina says, "One for everybody. It's on me."
Most certainly. Sure. Drinks too?
Whatever they want.
Coffee for me, please.
All right. Do you want black bean or bloodroot?
Bloodroot? Black bean, please.
Alrighty.
Do you have a juice?
Fruit or vegetable?
Oh, vegetable.
All right. Catnip tea?
Don't know what that is, so yes.
She was looking at Bert when she asked
No,
that.
she's not.
Huh?
So let's rewind a little bit. So,
Your random stealth that you rolled with nobody asking and you're not declaring it?
yes, the 21 stealth check. As
Okay.
I see Vinzer. Now, the next thing I want to do is a perception check to see if he has any loose coin bags. This person.
So I guess there's four people at the table right now.
Apparently, there's 4 people at the table.
All right.
Then, sir, do you have any coin bags that are immediately noticeable by a what's your roll?
Let's see. 7.
7. I'm going to say no, probably. Because that's 7, it's super crowded. It makes sense, like, hiding under a table does not give you the best view.
No chicken for Bert.
No chicken for Bert. Alina, okay, yeah, sure,
bleeding.
no. Black bean coffee, vegetable juice, and 2 more plates of the breakfast special. She kind of gives a half bow again and heads back towards the bar.
You celebrating something? I didn't catch what you go by, new friend.
Yes, we should.
I
Terribly
go by
sorry to-
Paula.
Yeah.
Who are you directing that to?
That was to Zephrina right now.
Okay. My apologies. I just got off the road, very, very hungry, and it's more fun when you have guests. And she takes her drink, and she takes a big swig, and it's so delicious. You see her little fawn ears or satyr ears flutter a little bit, like, ooh, and she puts it down and wipes her mouth. And I'm Zephrina the Red, and I'm here on a mission, and it's my first time in this town. Nice to meet you all. I hope you enjoy your breakfast.
You're used to mead, and so this is actually very mead adjacent. It is fermented black molasses mixed with mare's milk.
It's delicious.
Thank you very kindly for the breakfast. Lady, I am Buttons von Ambergalden, and it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Pleasure, and she lifts her mug up.
And I am Vance Goldenseam. I've just made the acquaintance of this wonderful, large, red-hued warrior, I presume. This morning, she was looking for a shipment or something. I imagine she was talking to Master Jahan at the docks. And so thank you so much for this wonderful breakfast and pleasant company.
Yep. To meeting new people, and she holds up her mug again, takes another drink.
Here.
You
While
hear
y'all
another
having
voice.
this
To meeting
conversation-
new people.
It is.
And you look over, and Bert's sitting on the seat, like just like, oh,
My
hi.
seat? Like over my shoulder?
Wait.
There's 6 chairs at the table, so
Okay, so like in a previously unoccupied chair, Bert's sitting in a chair, just seemingly like, oh, did notice you, like, kind of playing it low key, like, hi, I just got here. Mind if I join you?
And so you direct that to Zephrina, right? Because yours is it's pointed. It's not like broadcast.
It's broadcast.
to everyone within 30
So
Okay.
basically,
feet
unless
who-
I say otherwise, assume it's broadcast is
Yeah.
kind of the way I play it.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I should have.
Yeah, essentially
to
anyone
specify
within
that.
30 feet can choose to hear Bert when Bert is broadcasting.
Hello, new friend. I
Hello.
am friend, not food.
Glad to see you decided to join us, Bert.
While this is going on, Alina brings the next 2 plates, a kind of pitcher of a dark liquid that smells just delightful, and a small glass of a kind of lemon yellow with a tint of green juice. It's mostly orange, but because not orange, sorry, vegetable, right? It's mostly carrot with a splash of a couple other leafy greens that we ground up and boiled down for you. Here you go, my dears. If total is going to be another 2 copper for the plates and another copper for each of the drinks. Breakfast special.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Most certainly. Y'all have a nice one. She blinks, looking at Bert, reaches over, gives him a little scratch behind the ears. So, would you like some catnip tea, honey?
Not today. I'm working.
Okay.
Just some black bean coffee, and I'll have one of what they're having.
All right.
Kind of nods over to the half chicken.
She nods. Yep, y'all keeping me around today. Okay. And she heads on back behind the bar to get the 3rd order.
So now that most of the food is at the table, Zephyr stands up, and you see her. She wears a long jacket, almost like a trench coat, and she takes it off, and she's underneath. She's got kind of like a sleeveless top, and she's fully tattooed, like full sleeves, both sides. She kind of fluffs her jacket out and puts it on the back of the chair, and she's like ready to eat. So.
Vincent starts casting prestidigitation again to clear out the wrinkles on Zephyrina's coat.
They fall out pretty quick.
And
So I
she
noticed,
digs in.
My friend here, Kala, was talking about a tea hat. What would you say about a cape?
Oh, we do capes. I work at Epsilon Silks and Fine Goods. We have capes, designs that are normal in this community. But if you are thinking about something a little bit more fantastic, I'd be happy to assist you.
Or maybe a vest. Maybe a vest and a cape.
From those of you who have
I
been
think more is more.
Agreed.
for those of you who have been in town, Esply's Silks and Fine Goods provides a decent clothing option for most of the people who don't want to buy, from the general store. She also does mending and repair work and does minor tinkering with buttons and clasps and other metal work of fine degree, such as filigrees and rings and such.
Buttons, not with buttons.
Yeah. Zephyrina looks to everybody, and she knows that she has met Vincer down the street, but asks the rest of you, like, are you from this town? Like, and if not, what are you in town for?
Everybody says no at the same time.
I've been in the plane a few weeks since I used to. Well, I sell flowers.
Did you say you were a flower?
You've been in the plane.
Uh-huh.
Where were you before that?
Oh,
Which other place?
I was a flower in the Feywild.
You were a flower in the Feywild. I need to know the story.
Well, I mean, I got picked, and there was some blood, and there was a person there, and then I was a fairy, and then they made a lot of noises I couldn't understand, and they're like, come back here, and so I went to the school for a bit, and I learned Common and Celestial, and then I ran out of books, and nobody stopped by to say hi, so I flew out the window and found a spot to stay.
Bert, your food.
That's right. You create your own story. That's good.
Bert, your food
Don't need
arrives.
anybody
It's much like everyone else's. There is a single red enameled needle set on the edge of the plate, though.
A needle?
The needle's gonna kind of like float up, and it's gonna kind of slowly turn in front of Bert as he kind of looks it over.
Do you use that to poke food?
Do I?
Make a history check.
I use a fork to poke food. Sometimes a knife.
Zephyrina's like all hands, so
19.
19. You have a personal history with a group that uses these as both a marker of intent as well as a we need to talk signal.
Yes, it is a food instrument. How very accommodating.
Okay. I think Buttons would know, like, proper etiquette. Could I roll insight?
Buttons knows enough that, like, yeah, you don't eat food with a needle. Most people eat food either with forks and not with either forks with their hands or with eating knives. In fact, the chicken comes with for each of y'all a small little paring knife for cutting the chicken and stabbing in the vegetables.
Okay.
Zephyrina looks over there and thinks it's really odd and is starting to wonder about how reputable is this place really if they're serving odd utensils with their chicken.
Oh, it's a private joke between me and the bar.
Oh, all right then.
I thought it was just because you needed to lift things up sometimes without your paws.
Yes, but yeah, it's just a thing, you know. Such a joker.
Oh yeah, I got drinks now. You wanted a toast?
Absolutely.
Yes.
There's always room for a toast.
I think it's
To,
y'all want some toast?
Sure, bring some toast.
All right, black molasses.
Sounds good.
All right. As she continues wandering from table to table.
Fine. Would it be possible for Zephyrina to know what the tattoo is on the waitress's neck?
Yeah, go ahead and make a
Significant
history check for me.
Okay. 17.
17. Dwarves generally, when they hit the age of maturity, receive what's called a clan tattoo. It's not always on the face, but generally it is somewhere on the body where it is visible. This clan tattoo specifically marks Alina as a member of a clan Glassbreaker, which is native to the area.
Okay.
You are quite well covered and with these tattoos that you have, but are they of significance? Do they is it art? Is it fashion?
Oh, it's kind of the way it's like personal art. Like, I feel like it just adds to the fun in my life. So sometimes the little things you see in it are like mementos to past travels, but not everything has significance. Just something I like to do.
Fascinating. To accentuate myself, I cover myself in fine textiles and designs and finery, and you had it actually put into your own skin. I'm impressed.
Well, thank you. I like them.
So, you three here. So you're not from the area. How do you know each other? Is it long? Are you longtime friends? Well, clearly not. She's only been here on this plane for a few weeks.
We're we colleagues, I think is the right term. I'm sure arrived in town not terribly long ago, and my friend Bert here was well, to be strictly accurate, I hired him to help show me around and keep me from wandering into places I shouldn't and such. We ran into Kala and well, we took up a bit of a commission along with another friend who's sadly no longer with us. And we seem to work well together on the job, so we've decided to stick together for a little bit longer.
Why is it sad his friend came and got him? Kala looks very confused.
Kala, you notice
that is better if he went away with a friend instead of going away forever away.
And we got to share.
Kala, something's been kind of bothering you since you got here. Remembering the little wooden totem you carry. Please continue. Sorry for the interruption.
The small halfling one? Okay, well, she'll get it out to refresh her memory.
Y'all see Kala pull out a kind of wooden talisman. It's about maybe a 1/10 to the size of a halfling figurine. There's not a lot of detail to it. Vesner, this object looks familiar to you, though.
Should I roll to have
Yeah, make
an
a history
idea of
check
what
for
it
me.
is? Okay. What did I roll? Well, let's move your face. That's an 11.
11.
Didn't roll very well.
It looks familiar. You swear you've seen it somewhere before, but you can't place it.
That's interesting. It kind of pulls at my memory, but I don't quite know what it is. Where did you get it?
Oh, it was, well, I found it after I crossed over, and it looked like home, because, see here where the ears are a tiny bit more pointed? And you see with the kind of smug smile, there's a slight more point to the teeth and stuff? It reminded me of the Feywild races, which, you know, is unusual, so I picked it up from a vendor when I got here.
It's really interesting. Do you recall which vendor, or is it something that's past your memory?
I didn't know common very well then. It was on the way down from the Queen's Garden to the Academy, so it takes a couple days to learn common.
Or much longer. You should be commended for learning so fast.
It does?
Sure. Sometimes years for some races.
That seems inconvenient to talk to people.
While this conversation is continuing on, Alina brings by a platter of toast points with a small, like, dipping bowl in the center of hot molasses jam.
Spencer pulls the knife out and just very quickly just strips the chicken of all of its meat, cuts it up into tiny, tiny little pieces, and starts popping them in his mouth. Almost, within 30 seconds, the entire chicken is completely prepared.
And with that, let's take a short break so we can actually stretch our legs, get a snack or something, and we'll resume in about 15 minutes or so.
I was just going to say,
Sounds good.
strangely enough, Paula attacks the chicken a little bit closer to how, Zephyrine is, and you can see she's got tiny pointed teeth.
All right, we'll be back shortly. For those of you watching on broadcast, thanks for stopping in. There is not going to be a long break. We're not going to make you watch a bunch of fan art or listen to a bunch of commercials from us or anything like that. It's going to be flipping to, like, be right back, and then we will be right back. They can hear me, they can hear y'all, so we are officially back. Wow, that was a really short break. Like, wasn't even 30 minutes or something like that of commercials.
Nobody's
Actually,
house caught on
wasn't.
fire.
I mean, hey, if y'all want to sub or something like that, though, we'd appreciate it. Or, if you want to gift a sub. But, yeah, we're not going to make you watch a bunch of, like, skits asking for you to do that or anything like that.
Nope, Twitch will do that for us.
It's true.
And take
let's
all
see.
the money.
They do. That they do. 2 years, $100 payout. It's like, oh, well, we are so in the red. But nah, we're doing this for fun. We're not doing this for, like, to make money or anything like that. Just want to share my game with the world and with my friends. And yes, I consider you all my friends. Congratulations on receiving that tag. The t-shirts will arrive in a few days.
That
It's official.
said, if you actually want a character T-shirt, we
have
are buying
art.
the art with
Yeah.
commercial license. So
Like,
if
we can
any
do that.
viewers actually want a character T-shirt, they should probably get in touch with @Zizova about it. But if any of the players want one, that is totally a cool option, and I can get printer iron-on paper, and we can work something out.
I have a knife, and I probably shouldn't have a knife because I've almost hurt myself like twice with it. Let's play some D&D instead. I believe we left off with y'all having breakfast at the Queen's Cloud. Elena's showing off her new tattoo. Zephrina showing off her tattoos. Bert showing off the red needle that he is not going to be talking about, I assume.
Yeah, like
How
holding it up and then like, oh, never mind.
Kala unintentionally showing off her little needle teeth.
I did this on my break.
Did you?
Okay.
Cut out the top of a
Bottle cap,
bottle top. Yeah, bottle cap. Okay.
yes. Now I can pour drink without having to take the lid off.
There's some utility there.
I mean, not sure what the utilities.
And it can double as a vase.
Nom 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 chicken.
It's really good chicken. It was basted overnight in a vinegar to soften it a bit, and then well seasoned with tarragon. It was basted overnight, marinated overnight in apple vinegar. I got it out. Huzzah for me! Marinated overnight in apple vinegar, and then seasoned with tarragon, salt, and pepper, and then roasted over a open fire.
How do we find y'all again?
I work at Absolutely Silks and Fine Goods. It's
Yeah.
just right across the way. I'm staying in a place that's not quite so prestigious, but it's more than the flop house.
Really?
But
If you don't mind me asking, what's the rate?
It would be about 2 silver a day. For your information, so you can give that to them.
okay. Well, I'm paying about 2 silver a day. I have a room, access to a washing chamber. It's okay. My stuff, my meager stuff stays there. He kind of looks over at Bert.
No, I'm just asking because, obviously the flop house isn't the greatest of accommodations, and we were just looking for recommendations as to place to stay other than just.
Yes, I'm currently in the market. Is that the right expression? I'm
Yes.
looking for lodging.
Could you move your
There
mic
you
slightly closer, please?
Sorry about that.
And give us that line one more time.
So I'm currently looking for lodging. I'm in the
Ah.
market, as it were.
Do you have any specific needs for your lodging?
Well, I'm hoping to find some place that has a workshop. I do. I'm a little bit of a tinkerer, and well, I mean, I'm no full-fledged engineer, but I dabble with artifice.
A floating kettle whistles.
I would like to note that the kettle has little metal bird legs when it wants to land.
They fold up into like
Is
the
anybody
design.
else Is anybody else seeing a floating kettle, or was something in my tea?
Yeah, his name is Kettle, apparently.
Oh yes, it's
That's convenient.
Is this one of your inventions?
I don't know if I'd go so far as to call it an invention. I mean, it's just an application of certain principles of artificial, of imbuing energy into a crystalline core in order to come up with what's the word? The appearance of life.
The lid clamps a few times. Like,
Fascinating. You might want to be careful that Alina doesn't try to swipe that thinking it's the one that's been holding everybody else's tea.
I don't. I mean, I think kettle. La la la. Sorry, blanked on my own words there. I think Kettle can take care of itself. Just be polite, Kettle. Don't let her grab you. I don't know.
Yeah. Bust you away.
But so, if it's a kettle and it's alive, does it serve tea, or are the things inside of it necessary to make it alive? Alive?
Well, it can,
Alive?
It's not strictly speaking alive. It's the appearance of life. It's okay. This is not in the homunculus stat block. Will Kettle be able to actually boil water?
Yeah.
Okay. That's like the whole thing is a kettle is what you boil water in.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, you
put
can't
that
do
into a
anything with
teapot
it.
where the actual
Flavor is
tea
free, though.
Is it like the frog that was really made out of tea?
The one that ate, but no, I don't believe it is.
Did you say a frog was made out of tea?
I would rather not think about that. That frog
Feywild.
was unpleasant. It was unpleasant.
I've studied the Feywild in books, but it sounds terrifying.
Yep.
You're absolutely correct in that.
We went back for work.
I mean, the dragons were cool.
Dragons?
They were one of the very few things that did not try to eat or enchant us. So
We
yes,
think.
quite.
We
As far as
think
we're aware,
they weren't
yes.
going to eat us or enchant us.
You don't have anything against fey creatures, do you?
And
In
Kala's
general?
just wide-eyed and looks at Buttons.
Technically
don't, right?
speaking, no,
I'd like to think
my...
Kala floats next to Zeprina so that Buttons can see them both at the same time.
Some of my own ancestors came from the Feywild. It's not. It's not like it's not something to hold against people. It's just a place I would rather not visit again, ever, if I can avoid it.
Well, that's something. Well, should I be... I don't know. I've never been. I would need some coaching if I were to have to go there. How does one get there? Do they go of their own accord, or are they just whisked away, or do I wake up one morning and I'm in the Feywild? How does that work?
Yeah, that's typically how it works.
I think all of the above, but the Academy sent us.
The academy? Out on the island? Huh.
Yeah.
They had some
So do you have an
people who
in with
got
the
lost.
academy?
We performed a service for them. Wasn't
Sometimes
anything.
they leave their windows open.
Do they now?
Honey, could you move your mic slightly closer, please? Thank you. Sorry I'm laughing so much. Continue, please.
Oh, it's all good. I say it means you're doing something right.
I flew out once, so I assume that's just how you would go back in.
I don't fly, so not for me. Maybe you and Kettle could make
Oh,
an entrance.
they went in a door. And she points at them.
Oh.
Yeah, they're
Well-
outdoors. In a boat there. I think you have to be invited, though.
So you went to the Feywild because you were commissioned by the school, the Arcanum School of whatever.
The Sun and Institute.
And you were successful? I mean, you're here, so you were successful.
Correct.
You're in good standing?
Yes, we were able to
Okay, standing.
rescue the director eventually,
Ah.
after quite a bit of difficulty.
Well, you should be congratulated.
I suppose it all worked out in the end.
Do you enjoy adventuring like that?
Adventuring,
I like the money.
I do think I do. Adventuring like that, not quite so much.
I'm a bit of an adventurer myself. I like to see new things, meet new people, throw revels, you know,
Oh, those
all of
things
the
are all
fun.
fun. Maybe I'm that.
So, yeah.
I mean, the gold
I'm-
is nice.
The gold is also nice. You do need that in order to partake in all of the fun usually.
Gold is
Yeah.
lovely, I must. I'm not opposed to the idea of adventuring. I just would rather do it someplace slightly less chaotic. Just a bit.
The Feywild could be a bit much. The creatures that come from that place.
You know, Buttons, I had an idea. I'm sorry, it's not quite on the Feywild subject, but, you know, Madame Epsiley does do some minor tinkering in the shop. Maybe you could set up a station in the back room for your, that way you wouldn't need that for the house that you stayed at. Maybe you could work something out. Do something for her, and she gives you the space.
That,
It doesn't usually hurt
Yes.
to ask.
I suppose you're right. I don't wish to be a bother, though.
Slight commotion catches y'all's attention from the front of the room. A Slavette-looking half-orc. Her hair tied behind the back of her head. Her tusks are both coated in a gilding of gold. Walks in with a scroll in her hand. She clears her throat and proclaims in a very loud voice, "Upon the order of House Marshal, in recognition of the upcoming Day of Oaths, taxes are announced to be due within a week. Please make ready to pay what is owed to the tax collector." Before she kind of bows to the room in general and turns and heads out.
What a
Sort of
buzzkill.
groans.
What's taxes?
She did have nice
Did.
gilded tusks.
Yes.
Taxes. It's kind of a fee that you have to pay for being able to have the privilege of doing work or selling goods in a community, and then they take that money and they are supposed to enrich the community. But some people take that money and build a big pile and sit on it.
So kind of like in the storybooks where like the marshal or something comes and he takes a few chickens from people.
Exactly like that.
Something along those lines, yes.
What are
Alan
the
looks at her
taxes here?
Empty plate with no more chicken on it.
What did you say?
Yeah,
Mark?
what would be the tax law for passers through?
Since you are not technically a citizen of the queendom, so you are not expected to pay taxes.
Hooray!
You are a
Another
citizen
thing
of
about
the
being
queendom.
adventurers.
No, sorry, Zeprina is not considered a citizen of the Empire. She is considered a wilder folk.
Right.
Okay.
I'm assuming Buttons, Bert, Kala, and Vincer?
Vincer.
Vincer. I'm not sure if I spelled it correctly in my notes. Just Vincer?
Venser, but similar. Yeah.
So close.
Collecting. Okay. I believe all of the rest of us are expected to pay taxes as well as residents of as subjects of the kingdom.
Queen.
People who are subject to its laws.
Yes, even though I've been here only a short time, I expect to have to pay something. I do sell in a design occasionally and have a little bit of coin from it. So, and my proprietor definitely will have her portion of taxes owed as well. So.
I wonder if the sea druids pay taxes. I could ask my friend about it.
Did you say the future?
Oh, I wonder if the sea druids pay taxes.
Oh, the sea druids.
Zephrina, you know that the Circle of the Seeds is considered an independent body as well.
Yeah. No, I don't believe they would be subject. I think they're, in lieu of taxes, they make sure those gardens are growing to provide the sustenance for the
Oh,
area.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I think these carrots are essentially their taxes.
They are delicious. Does anybody need anything else? I'm about to reorder another round here.
I am quite all right. Thank you. We do need to figure out what. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure how I would figure out what. What
Still need to check on the
Buttons
storm cloud.
owes.
Also that, yeah.
I didn't catch all that, Meryl, one more time.
I'm not sure how I would be able to figure out what Buttons owes in terms of taxes.
Oh, you would
Does
know
that work
taxes
out?
are 5 silver per person.
Oh, okay. So it's just like a flat thing.
Yeah.
There. That could be worse then. I was gonna be like, oh, show everything you've done over the past year, and then assess based on that. I don't know.
No, it's basically like we need 5 silver per person to pay for roads and to pay for the guards on the roads.
All right, that's perfectly reasonable.
Does
I should
kettle
say
count?
that in character. I don't believe that kettle counts. No.
So I know how to say hi to new friend Vincer if I want. How do I say hi to you later, Zephrina?
How to say hi to me? You just say hi. Or wave, or cheers me, or however you want. As long as it's merry, it's fine.
Okay.
I think she's asking more where you're staying.
Oh, I'm actually also in the market for a place to stay. It turns out that the ship that would be carrying the goods that I need to procure is late. Something about weather. So I will actually need a place to stay for the evening. If anybody, sounds like Vincer, you're the best recommendation that potentially we have. So I don't know where you would call upon me in terms of finding me again at this point. The seat is nice and comfortable, and the drink is good, so I may be here for a while.
Pardon, Zephrina, did you say you're waiting for a ship?
Yes, I've been told that the storm cloud will be carrying the goods that I'm in need of.
Ah. In that case, Well, we happen to be waiting for the very same ship. It
Really?
Yes, it is. And pardon me for not remembering as a player. I believe Buttons' grandmother, does she own it or does she have a stake in it?
She owns it.
She owns it. It is. It's one of my. It's my grandmother's ship. I've been sent to this charming port to inspect it and make sure that everything is. I guess is above board the proper term. I think
Seaworthy. Seaworthy.
You
Yes.
were dispatched to, because it's been a while, but you would remember. You were dispatched because there's been noticeable delays in the ship returning to port, and it does not always return with all the goods it's supposed to have collected.
Is the board
But-
like the top part? Don't you need to see what's under the board?
Yes, and that's why we're doing the inspection.
yes, precisely.
Well,
Well,
this
I am
is a
also-
fortuitous meeting.
I am also waiting for the same ship. There's goods that need to go to Proprietor Epsilon's shop. In fact, I was supposed to get that today. That's where I met Zephrina. So we are all waiting for the same thing. Sounds like they need to get their act together. Their ship
It's-
is not shape.
Yes.
Have you been on a ship, sir?
Not while it's sailing.
Yeah. Weather is weather. You gotta cut him some slack.
Is that another
Oh,
nautical term?
Well, how long have you been waiting for it?
A couple of days now, but there's been some serious weather. You know, it's a safety thing. I mean, is it better to get your goods late or to not get them at all because the ship sank to the bottom because of the weather?
Well, fair point, I guess. I don't know. I'm just there to pick up a shipment. So
Sailing
Well,
is a
and in
very
my case,
complicated thing.
yeah. In my case, both of those situations would be dire for the person that needs what I am set out to procure. Arriving too late or not at all is the same results for me, unfortunately. So I'm hoping that weather clears up and allows the ship to come in, unless you guys know of somebody else that might be able to sell me 200 pounds of salt.
How do you need
It
to
is a
save
time-sensitive
somebody
issue.
with 200 pounds of salt? Seems like that would have the opposite effect. I mean, there's ocean, but probably not the composition you're looking for.
it'll probably take a while. So
It's a time-sensitive request. So,
I mean,
essentially,
there is the academy. Surely magic could speed that along.
well, if the ship is delayed more than another day or so, we might have to look into. Well, I might have to look into that.
I mean, if lives are on the line, that sounds serious.
And you know the ship has it?
I've been told that they are the most likely to have it,
Well, it will
but that
have
nobody currently in this port town would have that quantity. And that quantity is important in my mission.
It is quite a large amount of salt.
It
I
is.
suppose, would you mind if we asked why you need that much salt all at once in the same place?
I am actually not privy to the information about why salt is particularly needed, just that I need 200 pounds and it's a matter of life or death for someone.
Ah. Well, if it's life or death, then we'll certainly have to make sure that we can provide.
Yeah, either some sort of ritual or preparation for a slug invasion.
Either lot of little slugs or one big one? Yes, let's...
Maybe it's for an ocean fish.
True. I mean, maybe they want their own artificial ocean, saltwater thing.
The specifics are above my pay grade, but I just know what's important. So I better come back with it, or I fail.
Well, if the ship either isn't done by tomorrow or you want to hedge your bets, if there's places that have some but not all, but there's lots of places, they might still have it, just not in one place.
Well,
That's
I mean,
a fair.
200 pounds, how are you going to get it back?
200-pound
I'll
brick
hire.
of salt is about 2.5 by cube feet.
I would be in charge of procuring a wagon services to get it back.
Ah.
The Jahan that I talked to down at the port said that his guild is for hire for that type of service, so I'm not necessarily concerned to transport once I can acquire the amount I need. It's just making sure I can get the product.
Salt.
But all this talk about work is a downer, and she'll try to hail Alina for another round of her
Alina,
Do you want to
for
hear
fermented mead.
Do you want to hear the story of the Tea Party Frog?
Alina brings
About the what?
comes by and refills the drinks and collects payment for them.
Do you want to hear the story about the
Thank
Tea Party Frog?
Yes, yes.
Is it
Yeah.
a fun story?
And
Not
Kala
for
will
me.
get out her heart and tell the story about questioning for the professor and finding a frog that explodes in tea, including its well-made hat.
It explodes in tea?
When it was killed, yes.
Transmorphs?
So,
Let me know
short
if you want me to
version.
do a perform check or anything.
Yes, please.
I assume the instrument counts for...
Venture pulls out a 10-10 and prepares to
16.
accompany Kala.
16. Get about 5 copper tossed to you.
See, we might want to actually provide an explanation for the players who weren't here for that.
If you want.
Do
it in character.
The long story short.
The song will just encompass the part of questioning to look for the professor and running away with the first professor, and the professor turning into a frog and swallowing Bert and then exploding into tea. It's just that part. And
Alright.
Kala will pass over the 5 copper immediately to the waitress for their next round that Zephyrina wanted.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I am a little bit of a musical person myself, and she brings out her little schwam. It kind of looks like a really long, flute, larger, or
A
oboe.
fancier recorder.
Yeah. But she's a larger person, and so this is a much larger, version of what you would usually
Almost clarinet looking,
see somebody
probably.
listen to. Yeah, closer to like a clarinet. It's big, but if we ever find ourselves in a position to have a concert, I'm down.
Ooh, is that... Don't places arrange? We could just have a concert?
Over the course of y'all's conversation, Mira and Alina have come by and cleared the table of empty dishes. You also notice that many of the other tables have started to leave. Of the Vakin that were by the fireplace, only 2 remain now.
Alina, do people just have concerts?
Yeah. You said that's the
Alina-
waitress you were talking to, right?
Alina
Yeah.
blinks. Is like, yes, I suppose they could, my dear. D- uh, sorry, I did not mean to intrude. And she like grabs the empty tea kettle, puts the new one on the table, and just sprints away.
As long as she doesn't grab the other kettle.
Seems like she doesn't want the concert right now.
Oh.
But I can accompany also. I do have some talents.
Have
Hey,
a
Bert, where do
bell.
people have concerts? You're the guy
Usually
that...
large clearings. Occasionally in
Yep.
like auditoriums or theaters. I don't think there's any in Port Glassbreaker though. So
We're in a
probably
tavern
large
where people drink.
clearing.
Yeah,
We
but they're
could
also so
probably
crowded
set
in
something.
here.
Could probably set something up at the Poor Magpie. That place gets rowdy.
I mean, you could, but there's also like town guard. Like so, usually
So
if
we
you're
should
gonna do
invite
it
the
in the
town guard?
city, sometimes they come uninvited, and that's when it's a problem.
The biggest form of entertainment generally in Port Glassbreaker is, if not the Poor Magpie and other personal entertainments, the Gambling Den, the Emerald Chalice, and the Fighting Pit, the Victory Garden, which anyone who's been in town more than a day and a half would have heard of or seen.
Did you say the gambling place is called Emerald Palace?
Emerald Chalice.
Chalice. Okay. Well, something to think about if we're bored later. Maybe go stir up some revels somewhere.
Why,
And
it's rigged. It's rigged. You know all the gambling dens are rigged, right?
But they're great fun. You meet
But
very
they're
interesting
rigged.
people.
Yeah, and
You're not
get your
always playing
wallet
against the
stolen.
house. Can be replaced.
Can't I just leave my wallet at home?
Kala, do you even have a wallet?
She has a pouch.
Okay.
I made sure with the inventory.
She has a pouch. Oh, hold on.
As Alina was clearing away the plates, Zephyrina had she's been kind of keeping like a little chunk of the meat in her hand, and as everything kind of clears away and there's as we're talking, she summons her familiar Cornelius, the horned owl, from his little pocket dimension and offers him the meat.
There's a flutter of feathers and as an owl almost as large as Kala materializes on the table, like wide-eyed looks around and then just dives for the meat. Does a little shake and then does the head back and a swallow before like looking around and just taking off towards the rafters.
Probably after looking at Bert's expression.
Yeah.
So many
You don't
want to
mess with. Yeah, you don't want to mess with Cornelius as a great horned owl. That's not something a cat would easily get, or a panther probably easily get a hold of.
What plane
He's
did
pretty
that one
good
come
about-
from?
Yes, that sounds like a challenge.
He's pretty quick and disengages pretty quick. So, anyways, I'm like, she's like, this is Cornelius. You may see him occasionally. We're buddies, I guess.
You hear a "Ooh, ooh" from up in the rafters as Cornelius
Yeah.
responds.
I do hope he
Yeah.
doesn't run afoul of
Give me the
Kettle.
time.
So where do you have to take all that salt to?
Back to the town that I come from, which is Honeyshade, or the Hamlet, Inlet. What are we calling the
Enclave.
the enclave of Honeyshade?
Commune.
But yeah, commune's probably a better word since she's given her satyr background. So yeah, back to the commune that I'm from called Honeyshade. Those in authority say they need it. So
Spencer kind of stands up on his cushion and just says, "Well, I hate to be the person that does this, but I should probably go back to work. Yeah, this was wonderful. Thank you so much, Zephyrina. I appreciate it. It was wonderful meeting all of you. I
could do
will be
without
across
selling
the way."
flowers. I could do without selling flowers for a day. Can we go back and talk about the hat?
Sure. Yeah. If you want to come, I have a little station. I just need to check in and make sure that Bonren hasn't given the store away, or Chandra hasn't fired me because I kind of need this job.
Yeah, I get that.
My coworker didn't show up today, so I have to kind of cover for her. But I'll be there if you come in. We can talk. I don't want to rush you here, but he jumps off of the cushion and kind of quickly and then realizes he forgot his hat, and he scampers back up, grabs the hat, puts it on, and then jumps off and kind of waves real quickly. Says, "It's great to make your acquaintance. I hope to see you soon," and then just goes off, kind of waves and nods at Elena and Mira as he exits.
They kind of come back soon. As they are in the middle of having a meal now that things have kind of finally calmed down.
I thought that we were going to speak with I'm blanking on the character's name. The dockmaster.
They already
Jahan.
did. They already said the Stormcloak hasn't come in today. Or at least not yet.
Right.
Oh, I just thought y'all would go do that because I don't have anything on the ship.
Yeah, they've already done that, Buttons. They've already asked and it hasn't come in today.
So she lifts up some flowers. So I have 6 flowers to sell, and we need to find you a place to stay, and then I could order a hat.
How about we go find a place to stay and you sell flowers?
Okay.
I suppose.
And we'll meet here for lunch, supper.
Yeah, I do hope
Supper would be the colloquial
that
term.
has happened.
Supper.
The Storm Club was supposed to be in. When was it supposed to be in?
It was supposed to be
Yesterday.
in 4 days ago.
Yesterday? 4
Oh.
days ago.
It could be a storm.
I mean, it doesn't look very stormy today.
There's storms between where they came and went.
Okay.
I mean, wouldn't that be? I don't like the sound of all of this. Oh dear.
It's probably fine.
Probably. It's. If anything has happened to that ship, they'll be most displeased.
I think a lot of people will be very displeased.
Well, yes, but I don't have to answer to them. I have to answer to my grandmother.
You know there's human beings on that ship, right? Like, a lot.
There's not just humans on
Like-
that ship.
Yes, I know there are people on the ship, but
Like, if they didn't make it, it's because they died. Like,
yes, thank you, Bert. I was trying not to think about that.
well, you should. Before you say things like, well, they don't have to deal with my grandmother. It's a little careless.
If you knew my grandmother, you might not be so quick to say that.
Is this what this is like when conversations are down? Go sell stuff.
Let's let that conversation topic sit
Anyways.
and speak of other things.
You would know, as a sailing ship, Stormcloud has a crew of 30 people and can take up to 20 passengers. So there could have been potentially up to 50 people on the ship.
So, I don't think that's where he was.
I'm starting to get a little bit of distortion. Can you give me that one more time, please?
Just said so I don't think Vincer said where he was staying.
He didn't say where he was staying, but he told you he was working at Esply's. I'm probably
Yeah, that
saying
was
it
just
wrong.
a comment to Buttons because Buttons is looking for a place.
Oh, sorry, that was out of character.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
mind me
I
then.
didn't. Is that either? He did not. So yeah, has Vincer actually like left already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, just trying to get like the what has actually happened and what is people talking about what's
So
going to
much.
happen.
But we know where he went, and you seem like the type that would Silk Emporium, right?
I suppose I do have an appreciation for fine crafts, I suppose.
And it's just, he said that that could be a place that you could, like, do your tinkering. If you set something up with the owner.
Yes, he did. I mean, I suppose if there's no point in going to speak with the harbor master, then let's go to his place of work then, and ask where his. Sorry, go to his place of work. Ask where he's staying. It's hard to do it with the voice. Especially
Also
when
about
my brain
workshop
is
space, I
slowly-
suppose.
I didn't actually hear that.
Also about workshop space, I suppose.
Yes, I mean it can't hurt.
I'm gonna go sell some flowers. I'll see you at dinner.
Hey, be careful.
Okay.
And seems like hurt.
Alright, I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm getting like every third word, and things are starting to get a little choppy. Let me
Actually,
check a few
I can
things.
actually hear. I can hear everything pretty clearly on my side.
Okay, I think it's on our end that the internet is starting to have a problem.
Uh-oh.
You pixelated a bit too, so probably.
See if I can fix this very quick. Alright, can I have a sound check from everyone real quick, just around the table?
Test, test. 1, 2, 3. Test.
Testing
Check.
sound.
Check.
Zephyrina
One,
is
two.
here.
Okay. Well, whatever that was, I think that cleared it. We'll try playing a little bit longer. If it starts chopping up again, though, and gets to the point that I can't get audio or dialogue, we'll call it early. Sorry, continue then. GM, cut in
Out
here.
of character, Vincer doesn't know where he's staying, or I don't know where Vincer is staying. It's not the flop house.
Uh,
And so,
Venture is basically renting a room from a person for a couple silver a day.
sounds
It's
good.
not uncommon for sailors who don't want to stay in the flop house to have found someone who is willing to rent a room to them, and generally the same is true for travelers or people who have come to the city that have not yet established themselves. They either generally will stay in the flop house, see if the tavern will let them crash on the floor for a couple copper or silver a night, or rent a room from someone who lives locally until they manage to find a place to reside. Think Airbnb, but less opportunistic.
Sounds good.
Let's see here now. Vesner, as you approach, you see a reddish pink-skinned tiefling with small horns and short black hair arguing with a gnome in front of the building. She's yelling something in Infernal. Her tail is swishing and slapping at the air. Two new studs that are in the spade of her tail catch your sight as they reflect sunlight. Before she finishes with a rude gesture and storms off. The gnome that she was yelling at kind of smirks and shrugs her shoulders before heading back in to the building.
Does Vencer recognize anyone also?
Yeah, you would recognize that as Freaky, Soko.
No, Fricky would be the tiefling.
Yes.
Does Vencer recognize the gnome?
Oh, the gnome is the same one as before. It's
Zaza.
Zaza.
Well, in his head, he kind of says, like, yeah. I feel you, Freaky. And then kind of goes back in, or follows Zaza in, but not close to her.
She does not notice, or if she does notice, she doesn't acknowledge you as she pushes past the front counter and heads back towards her workspace in the back. Back at the tavern, the rest of the groups are following, or what?
I
Yeah, I
think we're
believe-
splitting into 2 or 3 different groups at this point.
Yeah. That's why I said groups and not group.
Right. Buttons is going to head to Vincer's workplace and see about asking where he's working and staying. They might have some workshop space they could lease out.
Okay.
With whoever was deciding to go with her.
I will.
Yeah, Kyla doesn't like to be in other people's business dealings, so she's just going to
Go and do
go
business
do her
dealings.
daily business. Yeah.
Zaprina is remaining there, or
Yeah, Zephyrina isn't going to leave Queen's Cloud. She'll, if everybody else is kind of departing, she'll walk up to the bar and kind of try to inquire with Alina and Mira about any potential places to rent for an evening or two. And she'll slide a silver piece across the bar when she asks.
Alina kind of like looks at her mother. Mira's like, oh, well, I mean, if you're really hard up for a place to stay for the night, hon, you can throw a sleeping mat down in front of our fireplace, if you don't mind it being a little raucous sometimes. We do shut and lock the doors towards the evening, though, so once we're locked up, you're not going to be able to leave.
Well, do you know any local people that would potentially have a room?
Oh, almost everyone around here has a room or two that they can rent out if needed. Just I'll check with a couple of my friends. Give me about an hour or two. I'll gotta get a messenger running.
Absolutely. I'll take a recommendation,
Kala,
a referral.
you're floating around. There are people everywhere. Are you targeting anyone particularly for your flower distribution methodology?
New people came in, but they look tired, so she's just buzzing around the edge of the market because she's not wearing her bright clothes, so she doesn't want to go all the way in.
All right. Do me a favor and just make a persuasion roll. We're just going to aggregate this.
15.
15. It takes a bit of time, but you would manage to sell your flowers to people who are rushing about. You're mostly just like floating around going flower to people. But it does work for you.
Okay. So she sold her 6 flowers for 6 silver?
Yes. It will take a little bit though. Buttons, Bert, as you approach, people want to say the Silken Treasure, and that's not the name of it. Espelie's Silks and Fine Goods. You see a angry-looking tiefling, a rare thing to see in this city because you don't have a lot of tieflings here. In fact, she may be the first one y'all have seen here ever. Kind of storming off towards the harbor, just anger on her face. But the entryway isn't nice. The building itself is pretty well built, and there is a definite air of refinement inside the building as you go in. A large Luxodon looks down at you wearing heavy draped robes with gold jewelry along his tusks, his fingers, and his studding along his ears. So, welcome. Are you here for a fitting, or do you have an appointment?
Either, I believe.
Could you move your mic a little bit closer, please? Thank you.
Sorry. It's not. I don't know what's with this mic. Neither really. We were hoping that we could have a word with. I don't know the proper honorific to use. With Vinzer.
You just got here. Give me a second. Vincer, you have managed to get back to your workstation, I believe. It is as you set it up. No one has messed with it. There is the little chest of materials you have been working on. You see, I keep on wanting to call her Mimi, and that's not it. Zazie, go up to her station as well. Opening a package that had been left on her station, she pulls out what looks like a roll of fur, though it's unlike fur that you've seen before. It has a slight golden tinge to it, a warm brown undercoat to it. The very tips of it seem to have almost a glittering, soft edge to them that is preternatural in its existence. She kind of lays it out and starts measuring on it and marking it with a felt pen. While you are watching her do this, there is the door opens and you hear the Luxodon from up front as well. Listen, you got some friends here.
Vincer is extremely happy to have a distraction from his seething jealousy at Zaza's fine materials and exits the room, not looking at her station, going towards the front. Thanks, Bonrun. I'll be up shortly.
All right. Bonrun turns to look at Bert and Buttons and says, he'll be up shortly, before turning and heading back towards the counter to talk with a person who's just come in. Y'all are left to idle in the back of the store for a minute or two before Vesner arrives. If you want to take a look around, you notice several mannequins arrayed along the side, a few mirrors. Bert, what is your passive? Actually, no, both of y'all. What is your passives?
13.
13?
13 as well, I believe.
Okay, no worries then.
Yep.
Vesner, you see the Paquin and the Herringon that you had brunch, food with, hanging out at the front of the shop, or at the back of the shop as you approach through the doorway.
Hello, friends. Welcome. Welcome to Apsides Silks and Fine Goods. I trust you've been able to look around and see things. Can I help you?
Yes, we were hoping. Well, we were talking about potentially reaching out to the people you're staying with about renting out some workspace. But I'm afraid that you left before we can actually ask where you are staying.
Yes, I apologize. I am renting a room. It's just a private person's house. They have a room. I've only been in town really a few days myself, so I don't have anything firm. But we can inquire to see if they have another place to stay. But you and I we were talking maybe about workspace, right? So you would want to talk to Chandra, who is in the back. She is the proprietor of this place, Chandra Epsiley, and maybe you can strike a deal. If you would like, I can go summon her and bring her up, or if she wants, I will bring you back to the back for the consultation. Anything that you want me to share to kind of puffin this up? Like, I don't know if you have designs that you think would fit the establishment and the array of goods that we sell, or what?
Yes, I simply wanted to, well, I mean, I just need a place to, tinker a little bit here or there.
Of course.
Shoot,
You stay here, I'll go there, and we'll see.
All right.
He scampers off.
Zazina. No, not even close. I'm sorry. Zafina. Wow, I've lost the ability to say people's names now. Zaprina. Did I get it?
Zephyrina.
Zephyrina. There we are. I'm looking right at it. I've said too many names today. That's the problem.
Okay.
After about maybe 20 minutes from the messenger running off, he returns and talks to the proprietor. He kind of nods and looks over at you. I checked. I have a bookkeeper that I use. His name is Kristen Ziegel. He's from the Russian Empire, but he's moved here to. Anyway, for reasons. He apparently has a few open rooms if you're looking for a place to stay. He's asking for 4 silver apiece, though, so quite a bit more. But he has a very nice home, as far as at least I feel it is very nice. As long as you do not mind horse statues.
I don't mind horse statues. I mean, I only plan to stay for a night or two. It doesn't have to be super fancy, but if it comes at your referral that this person's on the up and up for guests, I would be interested.
He is a decent person. I mean, I would not. I would not recommend him otherwise. He's a little bit of what's the term for it? Taciturn. He doesn't really talk with people much or anything like that. He's very business minded. He's excellent with keeping track of how much I owe and how much people owe me, though. So he's excellent for business. If you want, I can write down his address for you.
Sure. It doesn't sound like much fun, but I just need a place to put my head for the night, so.
Excellent.
Sure.
And she will go ahead and write down his information on a slip of paper for you before passing it over. Kala, you have sold all your flowers. It was not super exciting. Nothing really interesting happened. Like you sold 3 of them to a kid, maybe late teen, who was heading towards the park. So you're fairly sure there's a story there, but you didn't really get involved in it. And then just like 2 general people who like, oh, hey, yeah, I could take a flower. Let's see.
Time to go buy a hat.
All right.
And she sets aside 2 of the silver for Bree tonight.
Vesner, you find, I'm going to try it. Give me a second. Epsily. You find Epsily at her station, doing a little button work with a small silver needle, as she threads it through one of the tears on the jacket and is mending. It's like, yes, is everything all right? Any word on the ship? I assume not, because you are not carrying a bunch of silk.
Right. I mean, I can't carry tremendously, a lot anyway. But no, unfortunately, Master Jahan says that the storm cloud has not arrived. We do not have our shipment yet. So I have your receipt or your papers, if you would like to have them back. But Master Jahan says as soon as it gets there, he will have the goods delivered, and he will accompany them so that he can see you.
Oh, such a sweet old man. It'll be nice to see him again. Thank you. She takes the slip of paper from you and puts it back on the stack. I appreciate it. Sorry to take you away from your design work for today. Did you see the griffin that Zaza managed to acquire? It should make for a very impressive scarf.
Yes, it's quite lovely.
Well, the advantages of having adventure connections, I suppose. I believe it is her cousin that sent it to her.
Of course. Zaza Mitchum and her fine goods. It's almost like she doesn't even need your store. Maybe she should go somewhere else.
I would rather not have the competition in town, to be honest.
I understand. She really upset Fricky. I saw Fricky. She ran off in a huff.
Fricky came by. Oh, she did not get into the town. Oh, I'm sure she is up to something, that girl.
Well, if Zaza's running off your other designers and workers, it's not going to be good for us.
No, I will have to talk to both of them. I know that they're not particularly fond of each other, but does need to work on her temperament. I blame her father.
Yeah, so I could see that, I suppose. So I have another inquiry for you. So I met some people when I was inquiring on your shipment, and I met this person who, well, I say person. She is a lovely Haragon, and she's a tinkerer. I know that you tinker just a little bit. You do some work. I mean, you're doing it right now. The Haragon is looking for a place to set up shop, to possibly just keep her work together. So I was wondering, like, if you have space, but I can introduce you. They are actually in the front of the store right now. I could bring her back, and maybe you could work out a mutually beneficial deal.
It's uncommon to see a Heragon this far from the borderlands. Very well. And she kind of sets the needle down in like one of those little cushion holders to keep it from, disappearing into the wilds, stabbing someone in the foot. And she stands up, fixes her petticoat, tightens her collar a bit, and is like, "Very well. If you would be so kind as to introduce me, thank you."
Sure. Am I taking you to them, or am I taking them to you? What would you prefer?
I will go and meet them. It seems only gracious enough.
All right. And so Vincer walks a little bit before her, grabs the door, opens it up, gives a slight bow as she goes through.
She smiles. She's just kind of holding her hands in front of her as she walks and looks around the store. I was like, "Oh, well, definitely it seems to have been a busy morning while I've been working. That's always good." Bert, Buttons, you see a elderly human woman, silver and black hair, tied up in a severe bun, at the back of her head, wearing a very tightly buttoned collar, long skirt that goes down to about her ankle, with a pink and violet edged overcoat or petticoat. Sorry. Very well designed, hand sewn. There's a soft glint of silver from the seams that tells you the quality of the thread that was used to make it. Clearly the head are gone. Hello, my dear. Can I help you? You, addressing Bert.
So this is Buttons, and gestures towards the Haragon.
She smiles.
And then Vincer says, "This is Buttons' friend Bert. Bert was interested in some capes or vests, so I'm going to show them around to maybe see if we can make a sale."
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming in. Bert, I believe it was. How unusual of a name for a Paquin. Anyway, please, I hope you find something that catches your eye. Before she turns to Buttons, and is like, young ma'am, you were looking for a workspace?
Sorry, did she say young man?
Ma'am.
Okay. Just want to confirm.
Can you move
Yes,
your mic slightly closer or pick up your gain a little bit more?
Dang it. It's as high as it'll go.
Okay.
Yes, I was hoping that I should be in town for a little while, and I was hoping to perhaps rent out some space just for myself to tinker and store some tools, perhaps, possibly use to crash out to you know how it is. Inspiration hits and you just can't stop working.
She nods slowly. How are you with button work? I understand your name. This is not a pun. I promise you.
Well then, I can't say that I'm particularly experienced with it. I've never gotten involved in that myself. I'm more along the lines of I know a little bit of alchemy. I'm quite good at mending things that are broken, or frayed, or worn. And if you need anything smithed, well, that's something that's been kind of absorbing my interest as of late. I've been getting quite good with a hammer, if I do say so myself.
Well, unfortunately, we are not the Blue Steel, though I would be happy to write a recommendation for them if you would prefer them. If you are competent at repairing clothes, then I can definitely set you to work doing mending for our customers. That'll free up me and Zaza and the others, Fricky and uh, Vasna.
Spencer.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to run low out of energy, if you can't tell. And forgetting names. Vensner to focus on our design work and our orders, if you do not mind the menial task. I'm assure you my fingers would thank you for it.
I can do
Oh.
button work.
Are you making a pun, or due to her name, or can you actually sew a button?
Yeah.
Very well. I will pay you 2 copper a button, and I will pay you a silver an article.
Can I get payment in kind?
Want me to pay you in buttons?
I would like some studded leather armor. Unfortunately, due to my physique, that can get rather expensive.
It is not the material I am most proficient in. Unfortunately, our leather worker is out today. Apparently, she had a bit of a confrontation with one of our other employees. But if you will come back later, or if you do work here, I am sure you will meet Frecky, and she'll be happy to take your measurements and work with you on something like that. If you want to do just an exchange of labor, or I can pay you and then you can pay her.
I guess the second option for you.
Excellent. Well, if y'all wish to start today, I will go ahead and set up a workstation for the pair of you. If you would like to start tomorrow or later today, that'll be fine, and will give me a chance to actually get a decent station set up for you. Your choice.
I could start.
Wait, there's no misunderstanding. I wasn't looking for a job as of such. I was hoping to, get some space to do my own work.
Ah, I see. Okay, well,
I'm afraid that I'm engaged in this town with a, well, I mean, I do have some time on my hands until the storm cloud comes into port, but that does have to be uh, my focus, I suppose.
oh, very well. I charge 5 silver a day for station use. I do not have one set up right now, but I will have a station set up for you by tomorrow morning. Is that acceptable?
I suppose yes. But were you? But you'll be working here, I suppose.
For the time being.
Oh, if you excuse me, I have some space to clear and some work to get done. I would normally task someone else to it, but I have already asked Vesner to take care of one thing for me today, and I would feel guilty asking him to take care of another. And apparently, one of my workers has not shown, and another one has acquired some rather expensive material and is quite eager to work on that. So a lot is falling on my shoulders today.
Well, I'm sure we can help out with that. I mean, again, I do have some time on my hands until the ship comes into port. I'd be happy to help with that.
It is a principle of it. I appreciate the offer, though. You'll excuse me. And she kind of gives like a head bow before heading back to the back room.
I do hope I haven't given offense. That's just like an aside to Bert.
Bert
Kala.
just kind of shrugs his shoulders.
As you buzz into the room, A Loxodon looks at just like, we don't have clothes your size, I'm sorry. But we can have some made for you if you like. Y'all hear Kala's familiar buzz from the front of the store.
Oh, I think mine's special request. I found out that you can special request things.
He nods slowly. We can special request things, yes.
I think, when he gets time, Venzer was gonna work on a hat for me.
Venser's and he points back to where you see the group of them talking.
Kala just goes there. She doesn't wait.
But
No, she'll wait, but I mean, like, she doesn't really know to like wait for someone to come up or
he
that
kind
kind
of waves back. He's not upset or anything like that. He's like, "Oh, okay, you're leaving. Fine." Um, Zephrina, are you following the directions given to you?
There we go. Yes, I will follow the directions to the.
They lead you to while the main town is the 2.5 streets or so that are arrayed before the dock, there is a small cluster of like houses arranged just off center. Going through those, you find your way to a 2-story tall brick and white plaster building with vine trellises. There is a painted emblem of a stallion on the wall, rearing up with a snake entwined around its body. The address matches the one that you were given.
Okay. Is there anything about that particular like house symbol that's familiar at all,
Make a
or that
history
I've seen
check.
before? Okay. A 6.
6. It's a
Yeah.
horse. Horses are pretty. You've seen a few centaurs, but they didn't have snakes.
Yeah. Okay. And you said it was like a group of houses. All right. So I'll approach and knock on the door.
All right. There is about maybe 5-10 minutes long wait. You do hear a person like call out after you knock. So, moment, please. Before the door actually opens, being far more longer than a moment. A maybe 35 pushing 40-year-old human. His face has a very hawk-like, narrow complex structure to it. His eyes are slightly almond-shaped and downturned, with a dark hair that is tied behind his back, and his skin is a kind of dusky russet, just like 2 shades darker than you would normally see a very tanned person's skin being. He's like, hello, may I help you?
Hello. I was given your name as having a potential place, a room to rent for a night or two. Would you be Kristen?
Yes, I am Kristen. It is a pleasure to meet you. You are an acquaintance of Mira, right? She says a
Mira and
runner.
Alina. Yes.
Okay. Alina, she's a dear. And he kind of like holds the door open. So please come in. Yes, I am Kisan. This is my home. I work as a bookkeeper for much of the town. I reside on the 2nd story. We'll have free run of the lower story as well as the your choice of the 2 rooms. Please do not ascend to the 2nd story or bother me unless there is an emergency. When I come down to take my meal at the noon hour and at the sunset, I expect to be treated with respect and allowed the free reign of the kitchen. Beyond those stipulations, you are free to use the lower portion of the house as you wish, as long as you do not damage anything or remove anything.
Sounds fine.
Excellent. It will be 2 silver a day.
Any curfew in place? Is it too late to come back at a certain time?
I have a secondary key. May come and go as you please. And he digs out a small brass key and holds it out to her.
Okay, I'll take that. And my name is Zephyrina, by the way, in case you care.
I appreciate the information. And he kind of looks around and then heads back up to whatever he was doing upstairs. The second floor, you've noticed a number of horse statuettes throughout the area. Some of them have a serpent entwined around them. Most of them are stallions, and there is a very strong... This person must really like horses feel to the design of the place.
Having come from a place that's largely full of nature, she doesn't completely think it's outrageous, but she just kind of, all right, he's a little bit of an odd duck, but I like animals too.
As he goes upstairs, you do hear a door slam and audibly lock.
It's a bit serious for my taste, but I just need a place to sleep, so we'll just not bother him.
Looking around, you do find 2 rooms on the lower floor, as well as a sitting room with a couch and a fire. The rooms are very simple. They have a wash basin, a chamber pot, a bed warmer in the form of basically is a brass vessel that you can put hot coals in and then put under the bed.
Okay. She'll look on her shoulder where Cornelius is sitting and tell him to pick the room. She'll let him choose.
He just flutters into the first room, settles down on one of the pillows, and coos as he gets comfortable, and then refuses to move.
That's fine. We'll take the one he chose.
Okay. Kala. The Loxodon gives a wave to you as you flutter off. Your friends seem to have clustered in the back of the building for whatever reason.
You seem busy, though. I don't know if this is good hat time.
Oh, Kala, it's work, right? There's always going to be some kind of busy. Well, I mean, it comes and goes, of course. You wanted a hat. I can. Maybe we could talk about it, and I can draw something up. And it's. I can't make it today necessarily, but maybe we can get an idea, and we can kind of work towards something. What was the budget you were considering?
Let's see. My costume cost 5 gold. And hats are fancy 7 gold?
I mean, we could create something for you for 7 gold, of course. Do you have an idea of the materials that you would like to put into this?
Well, it should be fabric that doesn't stick to my vines too much, with a little poof on top, and you can see that she's got a few vines kind of wrapped into her hair, and maybe if one end curled a bit to hold flowers, that would be cool. But no, I don't know too much about materials and stuff. I can show you my costume colors. That way it could look nice with other things I have.
Sure. Yes, that would help.
And she gets out her costume colors, which are in bright purples and blues and kind of loose and flowing, and sets them out.
You said purple, blues, loose, and flowing?
Yeah, she has blue hair, so there's a little bit of blue in the costume. And then there's actually purple and green are the other 2 colors.
Purple and green. green. I like the colors, and he's dressed in like a mulberry purple with green feather already. So
That's probably why I was like, that's a cute hat because the color goes good.
so let's see. And he takes her to his station, and he kind of opens a chest up and starts kind of rummaging through the materials there, and like pulling out materials that are that kind of match the coloring that you're looking for. So he says, do you want it to be multicolor, like different hues of purples and greens, or do you want it to be just generally one color of each? Your vines are different colors. The different flowers have different colored vines and leaves. Like what are you into?
There were a lot of colors at the tea party.
Kala, as you head into the back, and the rest of y'all, if y'all follow, you see a gnome. Bedazzled is the accurate term in this case, with pearls. At a secondary station, measuring and hanging up strips of a very regal-looking fur.
So my thought is we should probably avoid some metal because we went to a lot of work to make sure there wasn't metal around me. So I should probably not wear a bunch of metal. I feel like she was
Hey?
maybe being overly cautious, but no metal would probably be good.
So if we're not going to use metal, we need something for the structure of it. Do you want like a leather that's been hardened to kind of create the form, or would you want to use like, I don't know, maybe sometimes you can take parchment or other types of paper and you mold them and moisten them, and then they harden, and they can kind of create a little bit of a shell.
Can you do that with crushed up seed pods?
Crushed up seed pods. I mean, I guess theoretically I could crush up seed pods and kind of create
Like
a
a
paste,
pine cone,
and
but
then the paste.
they're different?
Like a pine cone, but different. Yeah, maybe I
I'd
use
have
some
to
wax to kind of create a more firm structure.
I'd have to get a different pouch for the seeds, because seeds have to be in something. But I have a really cool pine cone. Then my hat would smell like cinnamon. Because it's pinion. You could bring that tomorrow and we could take a look. And then if that doesn't work, we could just use leather.
Okay.
But
Yes,
like paper's
we could
made
do
out
that.
of wood, right? So it's kind of the same thing.
Sure. Yes. And Vincer pulls out a greenish colored pin that looks very fancy, and kind of starts to sketch on a few different designs on a piece of parchment, and just kind of muttering to himself and to Kala kind of at the same time, just saying like, so we could have it flare out here and maybe curve down here, and I don't know, maybe do you want like a little veil covering your face that you can kind of see through, or maybe you just wanted to kind of, you said you wanted a poof, so do you want a big poof, do you want a little poof, do you want it to look like maybe the top of a dandelion flower in the fall where the seed pods are about to spread? Like, what are we talking about here? I think it's a little bit excited.
Oh, that's kind of cool too. I don't want it to catch on my vines. So
Sure.
I was just thinking to separate it a bit, but I guess it could have some structure to keep it up off the vines. A little more architectural is the word, right?
Okay.
All right.
And they kind of go back and forth for, a few more minutes, just kind of solidifying an idea.
Go ahead and make the design roll for me using your intelligence, your tailoring proficiency, and with advantage since you have someone helping you.
All right. So my efficiency. So 14. Not great.
It's not the most inspired of designs, but you are very satisfied with how it looks. It is, of course, going to depend on your skill in putting it together and in the quality of the materials used to construct it, how the final product comes out.
Just a question for
Right.
stuff like that if I wanted to in the future. Since it's a check over time, I can't do stuff like bardic inspiration, right?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Class.
And with that, I'm going to go ahead and call the game here because it's 2 o'clock. I had a lot of fun. I'd love to do the round table real quick of who wants to pass out inspiration or props to any who. And then we'll go ahead and call it a day. But y'all have earned 50 XP today for role playing.
Hey.
Props to Zephyrina for having the lighthearted get revelry experience and covering everybody's food and drink.
And I mean, that also grouped everyone together really well, so. Player
was
side,
nice.
that's a nice bonus.
So points to Zinzer from me. Venzer. I'm sorry. I honestly blame daylight saving time. I hate it.
Yes,
My brain feels
this
like
is
it's
a horrible
just
day.
cheese.
But it's been a fun day.
Yeah, so Venzer just kind of like instantly, personality wise, just instantly caught me. And yeah, he seems like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to playing with both of you.
Thanks.
I'll give Bert the kept us moving inspiration. And she's like, Buns, get out of the house. And no, we already checked on the ship. So I'll give him the kept us rolling inspiration.
All right.
Guess I'll give Buttons inspiration for.
I
Just-
guess.
Oh Lord. Okay. Keep in mind, I believe if we're giving inspiration out, if we give out too much, that is also going to be going into a pool that's going to be used against us, right?
It's if one person gives away more than one.
Oh, okay.
Everyone
not
can
as
give one
bad as I
inspiration
thought
per session.
Okay. And I rescind what I was saying then.
Any more than
Yeah,
that,
Well, I
and
mean,
I
that's
get
basically
good.
Buttons for putting up with my antics and.
And not calling you on the pillow lie that everyone knew you were making.
I think Bert's antics are charming.
be charming, Bert.
Trying to be a likable thief is kind of hard sometimes.
You also keep sinking
it's-
down at a camera level.
I mean, that's a very rogue thing to do.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
No, that's just
Well, next-
camera awareness for me.
Next time you got to go find out about whoever was sending you your needle message.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah, we
sprinkled
really-
so many hooks.
We didn't really get to Bert's thing on this one.
Oh no, I threw out like
Very
5
curious where
hooks for
some of these are
Bert.
going.
Yeah, I like how, wait, you could sew Buttons. It's like, dexterous. I have great sleight of hand.
Though you do not have tinkerer's tools, which is what's used for sewing.
Yeah, but thieves' tools. I mean,
Uh,
I'm assuming that.
No, tinkerer's tools is what's used for sewing.
Oh,
Tinker's
dang, so
tools
buttons
is
can
used-
sew.
Could you
If that's
use
the case, then
weaver's
buttons can
tool?
sew.
It is a number of different things. Tinker's tools are generally used for things like repairing, patching, or adding to stuff. Weaver's tools are used for weaving and making clothes. It's like how you need a leather worker to make the leather for your shoes before you pass it on to a cobbler.
Okay.
Right. So, but in the making of clothes, right, if you didn't have, like, metal buttons or something like that,
Then
then
you're fine with weaving tools, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you just work with someone who has smithing, which, hey, you know someone now.
Cool.
All right. Well, I got to introduce a couple key NPCs that I hadn't yet before. I got to expand on some of the NPCs that y'all hadn't really gotten to find out much about. I had a lot of fun. I hope y'all did too. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Tux, good to have you back. Meryl, say the
Awesome.
line.
All right, folks. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And please, always make like a polite werewolf. Like and subscribe.
We're out.
Hey, Tux, are you
Alright.
staying for